Good evening, all. Welcome to this week's Midweek Geek. I have with me some familiar faces slash voices. They should both be familiar voices. Iman would be a familiar face if it wasn't hidden behind his handsome character from Saturday Night Game, which hopefully will be going ahead this Saturday. But let's say hello to Saxius first, who is a long time stalwart of our
Hello,
stream. Hello,
it is
and
me.
hello, Iman.
Jump scare incoming.
Oh, there we go. There we go. You're there. You are there. Good evening, and you're probably going to fall asleep during the chat tonight. Does that mean that either we are boring, or you are tired, or you've been drinking?
Why not both?
All
Why
three.
not three? Why not all three? Hello, Spellsinger. So if you're in chat, say hello. There's not many in chat at the moment. I've become a bit crap at coming up with topics well in advance. I'm crap at coming up with anything in advance in life. So you can't expect me to suddenly become all organised when I start doing these things. Really.
It's not just that; it's that we've hammered out a lot of topics as well. So
We have, yeah. We've hammered out so many topics, and coming up with something new is quite difficult. So, what I'm going to do for a little while, anyway, is go back through all the suggestions that I've had over the last year or two in our little Discordy place, and pick out the ones that we haven't discussed because maybe I didn't think they'd fill 3 hours, or that's but maybe I would struggle with them. I would struggle having any contribution. So I'm going to go through all of those, sort them all out, and we're going to try and do sort of like 60-minute type sessions on them. And we might have multiple topics on a stream. And if they fill the stream, then fair enough. But I won't be trying to drag them out over the whole stream because I don't want to do that. That feels wrong. So I mean, most of these topics have come from Saxius anyway. You've sent tons of topics, tons and tons and tons and tons and tons. And I know some of them, their success or failure depends on whether you're available or not for the stream, because
Yeah, true.
you have got work, haven't you? And some of them do favour your style of gaming.
Hey, I'm biased. I'm not gonna lie.
Of course you are. Of course you are. I'm biased. We're all biased. It's the way we are. So yeah, I'm gonna pick and choose a few topics and maybe try and throw in the odd sort of thing that's in the current eye. If something has just come out that is interesting or whatever, I don't want to focus too much on Ferraris like other channels do, but we might try and discuss some of them in a slightly less shouty manner from time to time, if I think they're worth discussing, because some of them really aren't. I mean, do you have any problems with those, you two?
No, it's your channel. I will show up when I can and contribute what I can.
you do your thing as usual and just take the piss out of me whenever you feel necessary. Carry on.
Young Iman, I do not need permission to take the piss out of you. Remember that.
No, I was just telling you to carry on your way.
Right,
See, now you can't do it because now you'll be listening to me.
Right, before we kick into the topics I do have scribbled down, there are a few others who might be joining us in a bit, depending on work, what have you, whether lawns have been finished, all that sort of stuff. I'm going to throw the link out there because there might be people in chat who might have something to offer on a specific topic, but not on others. And the idea could be that some people might want to come in for one topic and not want to talk about other topics. So it allows almost a rotation sometimes. I mean, people don't feel compelled to stick to one topic.
Yeah, open floor.
Open floor, yeah, absolutely. So it should open up discussion and get more people involved. Right, recent games. Any recent games, Saxius?
Yes, I had 2 games recently. My second edition group have pushed through. They are actually no wait. That's the previous one. One player couldn't make it, so I did an impromptu Call of Cthulhu game for a bunch of players who have never played Call of Cthulhu as a quick one shot.
Sounds wonderful.
It was fantastic. I realized it was a bad mistake for that group because two of them, the moment that they learned that it's not about the dice roll, it's about the descriptive and the immersion into it, they went all in. And when they found a room that they had to investigate it, they didn't bother to say, we searched this and so on. They were practically taking pillows, carving them open with knives, cutting open the mattresses, opening up each drawers, flinging out the clothes, knocking on the things underneath, hoisting them out, moving. It looked like a ransack, like it had survived the London Blitz by the time that they were done. And I didn't bother asking them to do any rolls. They were so busy, like I couldn't get a word in. They were so busy describing and taking turns with this.
That's a good thing, in my opinion.
It's great. I just realized like I need like 3 sessions where these people go through like a quick module because they stopped at every turn. Even when I was browbeating with like, I've given you the same 3 names in a row now. Go there. Go there. They were just like, no, we must take this random person, put him up against a wall. I will put my 45 pistol up against his nose. And I was just like, you absolute psychopaths. So that was fun. One of the players is a hardened gore and horror watcher for movies. And I made him do the mistake of splitting the party. He went into the dark room because he is a photographer student to process some pictures where every picture he processed, something was getting closer to the actual picture itself. And the player was going like, this is bad. I'm in a dark room. I know what's coming out. It's bad. But I want to see what's next. It was like,
Yeah.
You know what's coming next.
Iman,
know.
that sounds like you when you play Call of Cthulhu. You just have
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as to say I rip everything apart, but just short of.
you have,
Hello, Bear.
Yeah. Good evening, Bear. Good evening.
So yeah, there's that, and then my other 5e group, 3 out of the 5 players couldn't make it because real life stuff was happening, so that's fine. I had another one shot prepared where I revealed one of the players' background nemesis has made a return. So a drow warlock has made his appearance and name, and the player is kind of terrified because he has given me a lot of ammunition, and he knows he's given me a lot of ammunition. And he then had to explain to the other player who was there what he had effectively given me, with the other player sitting there going, Ben, you absolute cockwomble. Why?
You look like you're about to say something, Bear.
No, I'm longing for a world I lived in where I didn't know the word cockwomble.
Oh, I've introduced that to them as a verb. They're now using it for one player exclusively because he tends to just womble his way through things and cock things up. So it's a wonderful way for that player. It's ridiculous, but yeah, that's been my games. I torment my players. I'm happy.
Tormenting.
Well, that's good.
Iman, you played last night, didn't you?
I did. It was quite a lengthy, productive session, actually.
It was, wasn't it? Yes.
I've got a full note written of the stuff that happened. I'm sure Andy will be willing to correct me in chat, though, if I'm wrong or if I've missed something.
Well, just give us a précis, because of course I ran the game, and we did have 3 people watching us at one point, listening into us at one point. Wasn't it?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, I think that's most listeners we've had too. So it started off. Our last 3 sessions were in the Dark Ages, so we're now back in the 1920s era. We're in Venice, and we're looking for the left leg of the Devil Simulacrum, this ceramic statue, and we believed it to be possessed. We believed the doll maker family to be in possession of it, so we went to their prosthetics factory thinking that they might be using it as a model to model their prosthetic legs off of. Turns out that they didn't have it there, but we did pass a check to find like a document which detailed that they had some friends in the clock tower. So then we went to the clock tower and we noticed that the guy who opened the door, he was limping with his left leg, which is a good indication for us. So we decided to go in. We climbed all the way up to the top of the clock tower and we got to this ladder with the trap door, at which point the bell clangs really loudly. We have to do a dex check to see if we can cover our ears fast enough. 3 of us passed and 1 failed. He ended up tumbling down an entire flight of stairs. And then me, my character, and Oliver went up into that bit, and we saw the big bad of the adventure, Compt Fenelic. And he was examining the statues of Angel and Death, it was, right? And
He's just observing. He was just observing.
Yeah, just observing. And then
John, I can't hear you very well. Like the other 2 are really loud and you're really low.
I've got to sit closer. I've got to learn to sit closer to this microphone, I think.
Yeah,
naughty.
Yeah, this I've got a different microphone. So
Yeah, but no, you're still
So then-
super low compared to the other 2. Like it's really weird.
am I?
Yeah. Like Amon's really strong, Saxis was really strong, and you're like,
Oh.
maybe adjust your volume or something. I don't know what to tell you, brother. Anyway, sorry to interrupt you, Amon.
Let me just check my settings.
No, it's cool, bro. It's cool. So yeah, Compt Fenelic was there, the big bad, and then I think at the moment that he noticed us there, he sort of got surprised by our presence, and then the 15-minute interval bell thing clanged. So then the statues on the tracks moved forward, and it flung him off the side. So then me and Oliver decided to look for through the statues and see if any of them had a ceramic left leg. We eventually found the one that did, by which time I think me and Oliver had to make a dex check. And then he failed and got stuck, and then I passed. So I tried to get him free. So what did I do? I took he gave me a dagger, so I like prized the left leg of the statue away from it. And I had to pass some mechanical repair rolls using a bit of luck. And then I did. So then I managed to pull the left leg away. Oliver managed to get free, at which point all the remaining statues sort of whir into life and start coming after us. So I think then Oliver managed to run away. Harold got grabbed, and then I went and got him free, and then we all sort of ran away, and then that's it. Yeah. If I missed anything, please feel free to fill me in there.
I've clearly made John's very, very self-conscious about that. Clearly. He's like MacGyvering it now.
Did I get anything wrong, Andy? Did I miss anything? Oh, there we go. Yes. Okay. Yeah, Fenelic just sort of dropped off of his own accord. He didn't get scared by us, but he sort of fell off due to the mechanical track thing. Oh yeah, Harold also threw me a hammer to help with the leg removal, so I could use it as a hammer and chisel. That's right.
Am I clearer now?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I've just gone back to my other microphone. The new one's really good for recording because, but if I sit back at all like this, you can't hear me because it's got very, very close. It only picks my voice from being very, very close. But when I'm recording my videos now, I have to sit here like this.
Have you seen Andy's emoji comments, John?
I have, yes. Yes, these are the bits of the simulacrum that you have found. So, Oliver has the arm, Harold has the torso, and Buck has one of the legs. So, it was a good session. It was a good session. It was the culmination. It was the ending of that particular chapter. which meant quite often the scenarios have a little bit of a build up to quite a big finale, which has a bit of conflict going on. And while the enemies were automatons, essentially, you still had the panic of being under severe threat from them, especially when Oliver was stuck on the end, was sort of wedged onto the soldier that you were trying to get the leg off, and then the soldier got activated and went out to ring the bell with Oliver dangling from him from the statue. Like in is it Harold Lloyd or one of those comedians dangling from the clock? The famous film scene. I don't know. But anyway, it was quite good fun. It was quite good fun. For me, it's not the most horrific of chapters, but it's quite a sleuthy one.
You mean Buster Keaton?
Was it Buster Keaton? I thought it was Harold Lloyd who was dangling from the clock.
Well, it could be. I don't know. I don't even know who the fuck Harold Lloyd is.
There's a film called Safety Last, I think it was called.
I don't know. No clue.
Okay. I thought you were a big film man. It was an old.
Yeah. I tend to be a film guy after the talkies were introduced. I don't know.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a crazy thing. I'm not a big fan of the silent era of film.
Right. Yes, it could have been a very terminal climax to the chapter because Daniel
it could have gone really badly.
Yeah, because Andy's character Harold got cuddled by one of the automatons, and had
That's Harold Lloyd.
Harold Lloyd.
I feel better now. Feel vindicated.
I knew something about films that Bear didn't for the first time ever. Right, I'm going to be really smug about that.
Okay, you enjoy that.
Yeah, I will.
Wait. Now I can hear you guys.
Andy's character could have pretty much died instantly if he hadn't been freed from his cuddle with.
I was never going to let a brother die. Come on, let's be honest.
No. It would have been 6d6 damage if he'd have been flung off that clock tower. Yes, which kills a Call of Cthulhu character like that. Anyway, Bear.
Hey, that's the first time any of my characters has actually been useful because the dice were on my side for once.
Well, good. So, Bear, you've been playing any games? I know you've been playing games. You've been live streaming games, haven't you? You've been doing heroic and things like that.
What are you stalking me?
Look, I'm subscribed to your channel. I get notifications.
Jeez, buddy, I'm starting to get listen. Maybe we need some space. I don't know. I've done a couple of heroic games. Friday we had a really, really good one, and then last night we had one that was a lot of fun. And there was much laughter at one point where we all had to turn off our cameras. We were laughing so hard. It was fun. It was good times.
Good. Well, laughing.
I watched a bit of your Palladium session on Cody's channel. You're also a good player as well as a good GM.
Thank you. Yeah, Brian and Hungar don't realize their characters are going to die next session because my character is going to fucking kill them for what they did.
Oh, I need to watch this.
Yeah.
I need to watch this.
But more importantly than that, we have a game coming up on Saturday.
We do.
And I've informed Hungar if he does more of his shenanigans, you are all within your rights to kill his character.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh,
there's that man.
Yeah.
Hey, Dan.
have your technical issues resolved, Daniel? Do you think you're going to stay connected now?
Yeah, my son must have unplugged my camera when he was doing stuff the other day.
No, that sounds like a beating.
Yeah.
That kid's going to get away.
Sounds like he didn't want the FBI watching.
Yeah, probably. That or else his mother watching from her house. One or the other.
For my games, I ran a little bit of MERP on Saturday night. We started a little bit late, and it was quite a difficult session for me because they've just arrived at Tharbad, and preparing a massive city in a very sandboxy manner, as detailed as Tharbad, isn't easy. and I'm not the best at preparation at the best of times. So it was a case of sort of wing a few basic interactions, throw some interactions, try and get them to bite on something. When they did bite on it, I now know what I've got to prepare for next week. Because Tharbad is so ridiculously intricate and so highly detailed. I defy anybody to just completely wing a really good scenario from it. You've got to get lots of little bits prepared, and there's so much to do. But so it was a fairly short session, but I've got a direction from the players now, so I've got something to work on for the next session that I run, which I like to have. And yeah, Call of Cthulhu last night, which was good fun. Right, so I'm planning on having 3 possible topics tonight. We're breaking down the streams a little bit because we've hammered all the big topics, haven't we? We've really hammered a lot of them. So we're going to go with topics that probably won't last an entire stream. And the first one, and I'm going to be, Tharbad is a whole campaign on its own. You're correct, Lerman. And the first one I want to touch on is encumbrance within our games. It's a bit of a dirty word to some players. People don't like tracking what their characters are carrying. I played it quite loosey-goosey with a 5e group. And after about a month or 2 of playing, I thought I'd have a little look at what their character sheets, because it's all on Roll20, what they got listed on their character sheets, and found out that one of the characters was at least £40 over the limit that character could carry and still move. So I sat the players down and said, look, you've got to be sensible here. You've got a character here with 7 or 8 strength. You've dressed yourself in the heaviest armor you can possibly wear, and you've got all this shit as well. If you're going to put that 7 or 8 on your strength, you've got to take the knocks with it, the drawbacks with it, of being weak. I'm sorry, it's part of the game. You're not going to dump a stat like that, and then not have to do something in order to compensate. So yeah, he took it on board and changed it. But you get that from time to time. Players do not like. A lot of players do not like tracking all of that. I'm an exception here. If I was playing MERP, a game, for example, where the mechanics depend on people tracking what they've got, I'd be there with my character sheet, enjoying adding it all up and trying to work out ways in which I could stay moving at a certain rate. As a player, I enjoy that sort of thing. And I think I have a feeling that Saxius might agree with that because he likes crunching numbers. So, yeah, Saxius, what's your feeling on encumbrance?
Well, my stance is quite simple. I think it brings a level of detail to the game that is something that is to be enjoyed. It means that there is going to be moments that will organically happen where the players will be faced with the problem of being overburdened, especially when you are going up against enemies that likes to hoard coins, or suddenly pound for every 20 coins, or pound for every 50 coins. Now suddenly that makes a big difference. Hauling out 1,000 coins is going to add a lot of weight to your character. Not to mention, at this point, you can also suddenly look at the cubage which you can carry as a character, whether you've got sacks with you, backpacks, or what you've been bringing with you, whether it's in dungeons, out in the wilderness, or how far away you are, because this has an impact. You are going to be going likely on almost an expedition-like distance, hiking for many days. You have to bring food and other burdens with you that will slow you down, that will take up valuable space. So I think it is an essential thing. And I always point out that while I will trust the players to keep the numbers, tallied up their side, I'm not going to be expecting bean counting. but I reserve the right to stop a game and say, I am now auditing your character. And I have had some players who've gone like, oh, no, there's nothing. It's like, the moment I start hearing that they start, objecting to me reviewing their character, I lock their character sheet and I stop them from being unable to do any editing. Because that's where I know that there's been creative accounting, and I then go through with a fine-tooth comb.
A big light going ding, 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 ding. Yeah.
If you suddenly realize that you don't know how much you're actually carrying, well, that's a problem, and then I will start counting things up. If it comes to the point where you are overburdened and you've suddenly caught my attention, well, of course you're going to try and squeeze some things out, and then that's where I stand with it. But that's because I think it's an enhancement, and I have this discussion with each group where I will lay down that yes, I can give up other things like spell components. Sure, I can give that up, but I want them to track the encumbrance because it changes things. I mean, hell, how amazing it is just to have the players have mules with them that can be easily just taken in the middle of the night and disappeared or killed or anything else that can make their life miserable.
Well, heck, that happened to us about a month ago. I forget what section. Our mules got... I forget what killed the mules and ate them. Of course, it left all the equipment, but yeah, that happened.
Yes, because we let a horde of skeletons loose on the world.
Yeah.
Had no
That's
interest
what it was,
in taking our stuff. They just killed everything they came across. That's what it was. Yeah, that was Gene's game. Bear, when you run games, how much emphasis do you put on encumbrance, if any?
When I was in college, I had a roommate who had a plastic water bottle, the kind from the office, full of pennies. And we were moving to a new apartment, and that thing was there. And I refused to help him lift it because we tried. It was insanely heavy. Insanely heavy. It took two guys to eventually get it out of the house. There was maybe, I don't know, let's say $10, not more than that. No, maybe $20, $25, $30 worth of pennies in there. It was, it was a good number of pennies. Maybe we'll even say 1,000 pennies. Okay,
1,000 copper coins in D&D terms.
Exactly. And it took two grown-ass men to carry that out. And they were tired when they were done. Nothing annoys me more than the idea that the players have endless pockets for coinage on them, right? And then you hear this nonsense. Well, just get a portable hole. Yeah, get a bag of holding. Yeah, I don't run games where ye old magic shop on the corner sells stuff.
Just get it. Yeah.
So good luck. You know what I mean? And players get really annoyed and arsed off when you say to them, well, how much money? Oh, I have 300 gold. Not on you. Yeah, I do. No, you don't. Well, where is it? I don't know. Where do you put your gold when you're not carrying it around? Because you don't carry 300 gold on you at all times. And then I've heard nonsense shit like, well, I bury it in the woods and make a map. Yeah, okay, you've never seen those fucking coins again. It's the reality of the situation is without retainers, without Sherpas or whatever they're called, Sherpas are from Star Trek. Sherpas, the guys who carry shit for you.
Yeah.
You're fucked, and you're not taking all that treasure out of the dungeon. And if you are, remember those 3 fucking weird traps you had to go through to get to the treasure? How are you getting all that treasure passed back on the way out? Because what we would tend to do on a lot of adventures is people go, okay, and you beat the dragon, there's this horde. Okay, cool. Next session we'll pick up back in town. Well, how the fuck did they get all that shit out of the dungeon? How the fuck did they get 10,000 silver coins out of the dungeon and back to town? That matters. So you're always going to run into this double standard of arguing for absolute realism, but not when it comes to reward. Then they want absolute fantasy. You know what I mean? So for me, encumbrance is nonsense, and that annoys the hell out of me because it requires so much bookkeeping and math. The stuff Sax likes. I just don't care anymore. I just go, whatever. As long as you don't have anything ridiculous, I don't care anymore. You want to be a video game character with an inventory of holding, go right ahead. I'm not going to care. But I also get into stuff like, Are you want me to believe you're wearing your armor all day and you're sleeping in it? What? Oh, and you got up in the morning and you had breakfast in your armor? It's you have to decide at what point you're doing realism and what point you're doing absolute cartoonism, right? It's cartoonism. Everybody looks the same all the time, wears the same clothes all the time, always, dressed the same way. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're always going to look like that because it's easier to animate. Well, that's kind of how players can be at some point in time. I once played a half-elf thief named Dodger, who I had 5 pages of outfits for him written out. Why? Because he was not going to wear the same goddamn clothes every day if he could avoid it, because that's smelly and he didn't want to smell. Stuff like that. And it's just, we argue about the most nonsensical shit in these role-playing games about what's realistic, what's not realistic. But these basic things we do every day in our own lives, we don't even pay attention to them. We don't even act like they exist. And that bothers me. So encumbrance, pain in the ass, could be worth it, but I have yet to see a good encumbrance system, period. I have never seen a good encumbrance system in my life. So who knows? And also, we only care about it in fantasy games. You ever notice that? You ever notice no one gives a shit about encumbrance in Call of Cthulhu? No one gives a shit about encumbrance in a superhero game. No one gives a shit about encumbrance in Traveller. It's only in D&D that we care about how much you can carry. Because when we're dealing with those other settings, people use logic and real thought and go, well, my character's not carrying a backpack full of weapons, so maybe I have my 38, my wallet, my billfold, and you know what I mean? But fantasy players the word fantasy is, I think, what does it to us. It breaks us into this nonsense place where we want absolute insanity until it comes time to argue realism with the referee or the referee with the players. And then we're going to be absolutely realistic.
I almost find it difficult. I mean, I run the game called Cthulhu on a Tuesday night, and I say to all the players, they might not back this up, you choose what equipment your character wants to have with them. It's quite simple. Just take with you what you think your character might have. And not many of the players have really filled out much on that. If someone asks me a question, have I got this with me? I'll use a luck roll. But it's most of the characters are only carrying 3 or 4 objects: a lighter, packet of cigarettes, a wallet, passport, maybe a gun or a knife or something, and the clothes. And we're just assuming they've got a bit of luggage for the train. They don't carry the luggage around with them when they're moving around the city. That's just assumed it's in a hotel room or whatever. So I think in Call of Cthulhu and the other games you mentioned, there isn't the hoarding aspect. You don't gain a lot by hoarding all this fantasy loot.
No, because you have banks.
Yeah.
Guess what they also had in the medieval times? Banks.
Yeah.
You ever notice when someone draws up their fantasy village, they never put the bank in? Oh, they've got the cooper, they've got the blacksmith, they've got the druid's hut, but they never seem to have the money lender or the money exchange or the bank.
It's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, I can understand, like, in bigger cities, villages, hamlets, probably not, but a city, yeah. Or at the very least,
anything over 1,000 people is going to have a bank.
Oh, yeah, 1,000 people medieval times, absolutely. Even then, like, you go into like a guild, like they have the capital for these sort of things, so you can always exchange it out. Like, it's not like there are options. There are a lot of options.
And then think about what a bunch of adventurers do to a local economy in relation to just inflation. When they start spending gold for like, how much is the wine? The wine's 4 coppers. Here's a gold, waitress.
This is one of the topics that Staxius has suggested for future streams. And
my players began arguing, like, why can't we, like, we've come back after attacking these goblins like 4 times now. Why has the value of the goblin spear gone from 20% down to 12%? Well, I don't know. Maybe it's because you have got back each time. Yeah, there's an influx of spears all of a sudden. It's like, but can't they just take the metal, clean it up, and like smelt it down? It's like, well, what happens when the quantity goes up but the demand isn't? Like, it's like you're oversupplying for a demand that doesn't exist. The city's not at war. You're the ones going out causing trouble. So I've done this. I've also had situations. Oh, my Saturday group had one player had the misfortune of going into the temple of the god of merchants, honesty, and gold and coinage. That temple is hyper fixated on ensuring worldwide inflation does not go out of control, because that is a genuine weapon of war that monsters will use.
How much fun would it be? Your players have raided the dungeon, the keep on the Borderlands, whatever. 5 times they've come back and dumped their treasure and bought stuff and driven up prices and all that kind of stuff. And then whichever one's the de facto team leader wakes up in the middle of the night in his private room that he overpaid for to make sure he has. And there's a group of thugs and a gentleman in a very nice robe sitting there wanting to have a conversation with him about how he's disrupting the way things work and how he really needs to just pack up his friends and go somewhere else for a while.
Yeah. I mean, I'm willing to take it as far as how Europe reacted when the Spaniards suddenly came back with all the gold from the Americas. They did not like that. Then the value of the gold tanked, and it disrupted many countries. People were hung. People were hung. You were not allowed back to mainland Europe. You could stay where you had all your gold. You could be as rich as you wanted to. You would never spend it. Why? You bring this back here, we will sink your ship. We don't care about the gold anymore. You are ruining our economy.
Yeah.
And yes. Well,
here's an idea. Why don't you head over to France and spend some of that money, eh?
Yeah.
Encumbrance. It seems like a future stream.
Well, this is an encumbrant, but this is an encumbrant. This is the thing. The word encumbrance doesn't just mean what you can carry; it also means what you do and what you cause and what you have.
It is. Yeah, go on.
No, please, Saxus. You're the math nerd.
It is a wider thing, because as you're mentioning, you're going to have the physical thing, which is going to have all of the the negative side rules of you're being slowed down, that you can't carry as much. You're going to have you're going to have all sorts of problems, and just sticking with the whole movement things, it took you let's say 10 days getting out into the wilderness. Well, you're now going to be moving at 1/3 your speed. Well, now it's going to be taking you 17, 21 days to get back. Do you even have enough food for that? And now you're going to have to then dedicate one spell per day to go and find berries, good berries. And now you're going to be spending, I don't know how many hours a day finding berries. Have you ever had the same meal multiple times in a day? That is
yes,
going
I went to college. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you could do that for a while, but when you live in a point where it's just it's the same thing over and over and over, you need a specific mindset to get into that. It's not going to be fun. And then again, offloading all of this, what are you going to do with it? What about the notoriety? The next time you're going to go out traveling, the bandits are going to be that's them. That's them. Follow them, stalk them the moment we see them coming back.
Yep.
Is there a thieves guild in this town that you're in by any chance? Boy, you just rolled into town with a shit ton of jewels and coins and started throwing money around and getting magic swords appraised by the local wise man. Boy, it'd be a real shame if it's a nice treasure hoard you have there. It'd be a real shame something happened to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how we don't fucking focus on that shit in these games. And this is an encumbrance, because it's not a physical encumbrance, but it's a social encumbrance. It's an ethereal encumbrance that can affect your characters, can affect their lives. So who gives a fuck how many axes you're carrying, Steve?
Oh my!
Your armor got stolen last night, as well as all your treasure. Enjoy walking around in your skivvies.
The news are going to get out, as you said, Bear. News will get out. Why is the ogres, free hills are going to hear about this? That's enough. They're just puny humans. Walk over there, all 12 of them. Probably invite over their cousins and their half brothers, and go out to the small group of half ogres. Be hey, we'll let you into the family again if you come with us. And we're just going to burn down the town. And look at you, just like that. You've now got raiders coming for you. Why? Because you went to the dragon, you killed the dragon, you've now taken that out, and now you've got every Tom, Dick, and ogre gunning for you because you've got his loot. But more importantly, you've got the reputation. If they take you down, that's an easy win for them.
Yep. And and they want loot just as much as you do.
Oh, they do. Probably even more than you do. Because look at the treasure tables. Like, even by old school standards, there is loot abundance all over the place if you find those layers. And that is from consistent raiding. There is a insane amount of gold out there. And they're only going to get that when they hear about individuals such as these characters.
And what about when the region's apex predator, that red dragon that's just observing, just holding back, waiting for choice individuals to reveal themselves.
So
we have a Hungar who's popped in chat.
Wait, do we? I'm just busy tagging things in chat at the moment.
Before we get down that road, I just want to say one thing. Woe to all players everywhere should Saxus and I ever team up and run a game for you. Many shivs will know what it is to roast in the belly of a slore that day, I can tell you.
Hello, Hungar. Hope you're well. I just want to come back to a few comments that have been. You've had Andy's grinning mug on screen for a little while with this comment he made here. I'm just going to remind everybody that Andy doesn't look like this anymore. This is his happy picture from when he had colour in his hair. How you doing, Andy? The answer to golf carts full of magical swords is a plague of rust monsters. It's as simple as that. Then watch them panic. Watch them panic. Justin mentions, if you're not kitted out for treasure hunting, a wagon, chests, and a crew for it, you're probably not going treasure hunting, really. The first things adventurers really should invest in after better armor is a more effective way of getting their hard-earned loot back to civilization. Hello, you're wrong. Nice to see you here. Duralumin says that he gives players a bunch of 3x5 index cards, one for each container they're carrying, and have them write their equipment on that container's card. It makes it easier to visualize what actually fits. That's fair enough, unless they use really, really small handwriting. Richard, yes, 5e does use encumbrance, but 5e players don't. In my experience, you start asking them to use encumbrance. If you look at a 5e character sheet, the space on a 5e character sheet for your equipment is so pitifully small. I don't think they even want to track equipment properly.
But the majority of 5e is usually needed for all of the spells that's really being cast there. So the focus is elsewhere.
Yeah, the focus is elsewhere. Yeah,
well, your fighter does get spells eventually, right?
Yeah, if they go down that route, yeah. It's like one. Yeah, it's like one out of like every other option, like excluding like the expansions. But yeah, majority of the fighters do end up getting spells.
I'm wondering here if Duralumin is bragging with this one. If this is what a girl said to him in the pub last night. You have a halberd in your pouch, really?
You have a singular wit, sir.
Yes. I thank you for that. So let's. The reason I brought up encumbrance is because I was looking. Huh?
We don't get into fights enough. Was that why you brought it up?
No, wow, no. It's just I was browsing through for yesterday's video. I was browsing through a little bit of Holmes Basic. And I was looking back at how basic D&D handled encumbrance and OSE, and it really does try the standard version. The standard way it does it is with utter simplicity, and I like simplicity when I'm running the games and when I'm playing the games. Apart from if I'm running a system where encumbrance really becomes the nuts and bolts, as I've already said. I would love to play a game of MERP, and I would be counting all the bits and bobs on my character sheet and making sure that I could move at a proper rate. Because in MERP, if you're encumbered, it affects everything you do that involves movement. Absolutely everything. If you hit a new encumbrance category, you're getting minus 20, minus 15, minus 50, whatever, on your ability to ride a horse, climb a wall, swim, fight, all that sort of stuff.
Get in the damn horse saddle in the first place.
Absolutely. And it is an integral part to that game. And I would enjoy that. But when I play a simple game like OSC that is fast moving, I like the idea of their standard encumbrance system of you move at 120 feet per round, unless you're wearing leather armor, in which case you move at 90 feet per turn or whatever, unless you're wearing metal armor, where it's 60 feet. And that assumes you have a basic level of equipment. If you are carrying a loot, which is assumed to be a sack full of treasure, you move down one category. And it is as simple as that. So if you're an armored fighter and you are carrying a sack full of loot, you are moving at 30 feet per turn. You better hope that that the mage in your party is willing to do the donkey work there. But it is simple. There is a variant rule in OSC, which seems quite sensible in that based on your strength, you have a number of encumbrance slots. And there's a little chart where you write down what you're carrying. And as soon as it exceeds your strength score, you are encumbered. Which seems to me to work. But it doesn't really take into account loot particularly well. But that's... Anyone else got anything to add on other encumbrance systems in games that they've liked or disliked?
Well, I've seen one where what they did was similar to the video game Diablo and the likes, where you have a set square that is your backpack, and your loot is then cutouts of the actual equipment that is then handed from the game master to the player, and then they have to fit those items into their limited space to actually symbolize how they've got to do the packing themselves. So it almost becomes a Tetris-like
I was going to say
game.
Tetris.
It does become Tetris-like with all of this sort of setup, because then that means that there is a finite amount of space. The weight itself isn't so much important as it is the actual space itself, and that is how they do it there. Similarly, I do remember that Eli or Elfbait mentioned that whenever he was doing encumbrance for his characters, he would draw on every piece of equipment, and if it became too much, then at that point he couldn't carry it, just simply as. From an artistic point of view, that makes a lot of sense if you are able to do that. I'm trying to think what else.
I mean, I would like an idea of a simple one, not necessarily weight-based, but size-based, where items are large, medium, or small. And say, for example, a backpack can hold 2 large items, or 4 medium items, or 8 small items.
Yeah, a halberd.
Or whatever.
What's a halberd then?
A halberd is
now you got to introduce another thing called
weapon.
long.
It's a weapon. Long.
Yeah, that's true.
Long.
Now you got to introduce a thing called wide, and see, just into another fucking system.
I would just classify that as something that is unwieldy, or that can, like another category that just you cannot put that in your backpack. So at that point, you have to hold it in your hand. So a kite shield has to be wielded in your hand.
Yeah.
Slot system works perfectly.
Yeah.
And then they just fill in their stuff, and we go from there, and that's it. It reduces all the bullshit. Everything else has got to be on a wagon or on a pack horse, and let's just stop nonsense and go fight goblins.
True.
Makes sense.
One knock-on effect I think that encumbrance has. I mean, I'm going to get into the nerdy stuff now. Those encumbrance and weights for weapons and items have long been misinterpreted by gamers. How many people out there played for years thinking that a two-handed sword weighed about 15 pounds simply because it was 150 coins worth of encumbrance in AD&D? Because AD&D, the encumbrance took into account how unwieldy they were to carry. A big two-handed sword will weigh about 2 pounds.
Yeah, no.
That's
I had
it.
a teacher in high school who tried to convince us that the Scottish Claymore weighed 30 pounds, and we were like, "Are you fucking stupid?"
Yeah, maybe 4 or 5 pounds at the most, mostly 2 or 3 pounds.
Yeah.
The pommel weighed more than the blade did.
Very probably, yes. Yes.
Honestly, I have a 4-foot bastard sword. The heaviest part of it is the pommel.
Yeah. Same with axes. The majority of the weight is up at the head where all the metal is. And that's because whenever you swing with an axe, a lot of it is going to be the wrist work, and you're making sure that you'll quickly turn it around. All about momentum. Same with maces, same with warhammers. They're all weighed differently for different purposes.
That's one reason why those double-bladed axes and huge, big mallet-like warhammers really weren't a thing on battlefields. Because they've just utterly unwieldy. Utterly unwieldy.
Yeah. I mean, go on.
I have a friend, she sword fights, and she does it at Amp-Guard and SCA and all this type of stuff. And she was at an event where they're having a big, massive battle, and she was using a bow that day. And this guy wandered out onto the battlefield with a big two-hander, and he started swinging that bitch around, and people, cleared the area because there was a lot of stuff flying around, and guys were having a hard time getting at him. And she just hid behind someone, popped out, and went boop, and shot him in the chest. And it was the end of the fight. You know what I mean? And the guy threw a hissy fit, of course, and but it's like there's a counter for everything, and the more energy you have to spend zipping your weapon around, the less hitting you're going to do, and the more vulnerable you're going to become in the long run.
Yeah. That's why, like, any interview I've seen with people who does HEMA, they always talk about there are specific stances that you want to take. There are specific moves because at any given point you will be exposing yourself, and you've got to be able to then bring your weapon around to do an emergency parry, or you're going to have to basically step out of the way to avoid an attack. That's why, especially when it comes to characters such as the fighter, armor is going to be weighing you down, but it's not going to be making you immobile. The armor that we have is going to be quite flexible. It's going to allow you a great deal of movement.
Well, talking about misconceptions, there is that misconception that a full suit of plate armor is incredibly heavy.
Oh, and you can't swim in it either. Remember that. There's no swimming in armor. People swim in armor all the time. There's been enough YouTube videos made of guys wearing actual armor and showing you what they can do. You know what I mean? We have to deal with something that's really weird. Hey, Manfred, we have to deal with something that's really, really weird, which is that the more I read old D&D, the more I realize these people had no idea what the fuck they were talking about.
No,
they understood wargaming. They did not understand medieval history. They did not understand physics, and they sure shit didn't understand engineering. You know what I mean?
They were armchair nerds. Like, again, like their entire window into this world was not what we later got access to. It was just they could get access to whatever they could find in their local library. So I would give them some leeway that they were not able to get the same information. But yeah, we have a much wider selection of information, a much better researched information that's available at our fingertips these days. I mean,
I was going to say hello, Halakar.
Hello.
You finished mowing your lawn?
Well, I've got an electric push mower. The big mower's in the shop, so the electric push mower only runs about 45 minutes per charge. So I did that.
Oh, what a shame that is! What a shame!
It's firewood, and here I am.
That's why you have kids. You let them do the mowing.
You give them a pair of nail scissors and send them outside.
Yep.
Yeah, if I needed kids, they would have issued them to me in BASIC. So apparently, I don't need them.
Well, I told my children,
Corps provided everything I'll need in life.
Nurture and raise you to be a proper adult. I had you to do the shit I don't want to do.
All right. Where were we? We were talking about
Encumbrance.
Yeah.
encumbrance. Yes. Yes.
What's the next topic? I think we've exhausted. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next topic. The next topic I'd got on my list is when you get an official supplement or adventure for a game that breaks core rules, doesn't abide by core rules. Is that a problem? Should official supplements generally stick to core rules?
Do you have an
Or
example?
should
Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
I mean, here I'm going to refer to one of the adventure module writers, Tracy Hickman, was notorious for writing initially very detailed, very intriguing adventures in the form of Ravenloft and Rahasia and things like that. But more and more as time went by, if you got a Hickman adventure, you'd have to do some work on it in order to make it fit if you were using certain rules. It was clear that he hadn't assumed the party would be playing by defined rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide in first edition. Yesterday I went through B1 in Search of the Unknown, and looking through the list of example NPCs, it was obvious that even though this was listed as a basic adventure for basic D&D, a number of the characters at the back were created using AD&D rules, which hadn't even been published when that adventure was first published. I just wondered if you thought creators for a product have a bit of an obligation, if they're writing for a product, to generally stick by certain conventions and certain core rules that groups might likely be using.
Unless there's a good justification for why it doesn't. Something I see in a lot of modules is this creature will surprise on a 1 in 8. Well, what if you've got a ranger in the party? What if you've got a monk in the party? You know, just say that it gets a bonus to surprise. You don't have to give me a hard number because there's going to be a whole bunch of exceptions to it.
Absolutely. I think it adds more confusion than is needed. Now, Bear, I don't think you use published adventures and published stuff. You write a lot of your own stuff, don't you? Do you follow?
I adapt stuff sometimes.
Oh, one thing I wanted to come back to, actually. Sorry, back on the last topic, we were asked a question which I was waiting to throw to Bear. How does Palladium Fantasy handle encumbrance?
Don't know. Didn't read
it. There we go.
The last thing in this, I will read the narrative fiction that I can't stand in role-playing games before I'll read encumbrance rules.
Fair enough. I haven't read those Palladium Fantasy encumbrance rules either because I don't intend to need them.
Sadly, yeah.
My character isn't going to be the sort who accumulates unnecessary things. He's there to fight and hit things. That's his calling in life. So I don't know, and Bear doesn't know, and we're the ones who are currently playing. And Iman, I'd imagine, hasn't read those either, because Iman hasn't read any rules, I don't think, for that game. Iman didn't rise to the bait. The little dig there.
Yeah, now he's still out in the shed.
So Halakar,
Yes.
you got any more examples? For example,
I'm sorry, I'm dealing with an unwanted guest.
Oh, that's always fun.
Okay.
How big are they?
I have 3 of them. They're called my wife and my children.
The initiative is the one that I see the most often, initiative and surprise.
Yeah.
But there are also things that, monsters, for a lack of a better phrase, but character classes that you will run into that are an enemy that are beyond what the level cap would be, or what the skill cap or
And
attribute cap would be.
as you say, I mean, if there's a
How many orcs can fit in a 10 by 10 room? Stuff like that.
yeah, it does feel like there's a certainly you've got to use a little bit of logic. I mean, if the game rules aren't 100% logical, then fine, yes, tinker. But if they are, then abide by them and think about the impact that your decisions will have on the way an adventure plays, on the way a group might have to approach something. Like you, hello, Dungeon Calling Hobo. My least favorite adventure, N2, the Forest Oracle. There's that one creature that will surprise on a 1 to 3, but on a 3 to 4, someone else will be surprised, and then on a 5 to 6, nobody will be surprised or whatever. It's just terrible editing. It's an attempt at adjusting rules that didn't need to be adjusted, and it should never have made it through, in my opinion. But another example. There are creatures listed in Pharaoh, for example, that are listed as having 4 hit dice. If monsters have 4 hit dice, the rules state you roll 4d8 for their hit points. Why are these individuals in the adventures listed with like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hit points? Never any more than that. It's little things like that to get my goat. I'm a bit pedantic about that.
Speak better English. You're from England. Get your goad.
Goat.
Goad.
Is it meant to be goad?
It's been bastardized over the years into get your goat, but it's get your goad. Sorry. You get so pedantic over English sometimes. I
never knew that. I never knew that.
Yeah, are you at your wit's end or at your wick's end?
It'd be at your wick's end officially.
Yeah, except in North America, it's your wit's end.
But I am going to bring up coup de grace.
Coup de grace? Coup de grace.
No, it was confirmed by Slan, who is a native French speaker. Coup de grace.
Yeah, I know.
No, you speak French.
I've been around too many Americans for too long, so I say coup de grace, cut the fat.
So I'm back on topic.
Nope.
I've got the opposite problem. In the Red Hand of Doom, I've actually gone through and done some number crunching for one of the big enemies that you encounter. Who, well, I don't know. Like, can I spoil things here?
Yeah.
Looking mainly at Bear.
Spoilers.
I've read that adventure back to front.
Good. One of them is a Lich. He's specifically a Druid / Blighter. Now, I've gone through and I read the Blighter character from 3.5. For the level that this Lich is supposed to be at versus what the Blighter's at, the one that is in the Red Hand of Doom is actually worth a damn. If you actually go through the rules in 3.5 and build the character up the way that they have said that he's meant to be built, the players can kick him up and down his own layer without breaking a sweat. Which is, to me, that's funny that in the module they've actually gone like, we're gonna completely ignore the rules and give him powers that he shouldn't have access to, but he needs them to be the terrifying force that he should be, which he should be a terrifying force. He's a Lich.
That's fine.
Yeah, like
That's
at that point it's like, okay, it's the other way around, but it's been done in a game system where it is heavily implied that everything, the monsters included, are made via the same rules, no exceptions. So that's a fun thing where I've actually found that it was the opposite.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key is do it when it makes sense for what the adventure wants, or the situation wants. But what got me a little bit with those characters, those example characters from B1, is that's meant to be a teaching adventure. I was thinking about this after I made the video. It's meant to be a teaching adventure. It's meant to teach brand new DMs and brand new players how to play Holmes Basic. And yet it breaks the Holmes Basic rules. It doesn't abide by them, which I think is a bit wrong. I think that was a bit naughty. think it should have stuck to the core tenets of that system. But hey ho, I can see this topic.
I think about Unearthed Arcana. To me, that broke a lot more rules than it fixed or helped.
Yes.
I mean, if they wanted to come out with a whole new edition, they should have labeled it as such. But as a supplement book, it caused a lot more trouble in my campaigns than I think it helped.
Isn't it the case that there's all in the terms of rules being changed as time goes on and new things being added, there's almost always a power creep throughout almost every game. There is a power creep. Which
yeah.
Go on, Daniel.
Was it Unearthed Arcana that if you had a fighter, you could roll 9d6 for strength?
Yeah, if it was the optional character creation rules.
Totally. If you didn't have a 15 in everything, you were a failure.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I've covered that in a video. How I.
Yeah.
If you want to check it out, when AD&D jumped the shark is the title of that video. It's one of my best performing videos of recent months. Well, yes, there's certainly the issue of, I think when you've got core rules, I think any supplements that come out following those core rules should ideally follow the intention of the core rules, should follow the general sort of power balance, the general tone of how the game is designed. I mean, obviously you can have different settings with different tones in terms of the story, but in terms of how the game is designed, you should follow the general tone. And all too often we see supplements come out that are ill thought out. How many classic old adventures in AD&D would an Unearthed Arcana built party slaughter their way through simply because of that power creep? And look, you got to look at, I mean, more recently, 5th edition. There's been a lot of criticism that the changes in the rules have just made characters more and more and more powerful.
But so
even more and more power to the players.
But isn't Unearthed Arcana a book of purely optional rules?
Yes. The issue is though, we're old enough to and experienced enough to understand that optional rules are that optional, and it's largely up to the DM whether they're incorporated. Certainly, there is the thing in modern D&D culture where DMs are generally told to give the players what they want.
Well, so you're also dealing with other things than just, it's not the milieu of when Unearthed Arcana versus what we are having now with 5th edition. I wouldn't exactly call them one for one. I mean, they were the same sort of like push for marketing because TSR had to make it money. Same with WotC these days. But I would definitely at least argue that, because the big craze of like, this is now the new book that's come out, the players and the DMs both want to have a go at it, but forcing it into an existing campaign often means that there are going to be problems with that.
Well,
go on.
See, when they came out, if you think about it, we're all about the same age. Back then, as players, we wanted as much as we could get.
Yeah.
Now that we're older, we want a better playing experience, and not so much as I want to grab everything right now.
When you're 15, you don't understand the idea of less is more.
Correct. That's exactly it. Now we enjoy the playing experience, whereas when we were teenagers, it was gimme, gimme, gimme.
Yeah, but we all go through these phases. I mean, many I've got like many players that I've seen over the years. They go from I've got no idea what it is to this is all brand new to okay, they now want to go through the power gaming phase where they want to be as powerful as possible. They don't want to, experience loss or anything like that. And then they circle back to, you know what? It's actually fun to play an average character and having to think my way through problems.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
It's a cycle, and it's not a cycle that happens, overnight. But it's something that, again, you can see, with something like Unearthed Arcana, it gives the opportunity for, if you want to run the hi-fi power fantasy, you can go for it, or you can also turn around and go like, you know what, I'd like to, pick a few options here and spice up the game a bit. Like,
it depends on game system and game genre as well.
Yeah.
Bear, you're an experience in superhero fantasy. How much is there a worry about balance in Marvel superheroes and things like that?
So, one of the
It'll be
reasons I
fine.
don't play D&D at all anymore is that word you just said.
Balance.
I'm exhausted by it. I've been in too many arguments about it. I've seen too many threads about it. I've watched many conversations, but I'm tired of it. The world is unbalanced. The world is literally kind of scutsy. Why should my fantasy be any different? If my players are stupid enough to attack the green dragon they just saw in the woods and they're 3rd level, well, God bless them.
The world is balanced.
We'll have more treasure from that dragon.
Dragon get whatever shit they have to add to its hoard, Like, come on.
Oh, good shit.
I'm sorry, I don't like
That was
D&D.
fun.
I don't like it anymore. I just don't like it anymore because of these inherent problems within it. The system itself has these problems built in, power creep being one of them. Palladium has the same problem as well, by the way. But Palladium handles it better because 90% of the power creep's not in the main core rulebook, so you don't have to worry about it. And if you're not buying those books, because they don't do like the complete Palladium fighter book or Wizards the Palladium way. No, they do like a setting book, and if you're not playing that setting, then you don't need to ever worry about that stuff. And if a player comes on and says, I want to bring that in, you can take a chance to look at it and decide for yourself. D&D tends to expand the game with every supplement that comes out. They expand the core, Unearthed Arcana being one of those big steps in that direction. As a result, the power creep's going to get out of control because people are going to expect this stuff to be part of your game. And then you get this nonsense like, well, core rules +1 and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, well, you know what? How about just I set the rules and we play from there?
Yeah.
Well, back when we were 15, though, if it was in print, it was law. Hey, look, it says right here in the book. We didn't. My group didn't know enough to say, yeah, but that's not going to help the game in the long run.
Correct.
Looking at it with older, more experienced eyes now.
Yeah, but we've also got decades worth of experience that's now available to us, in writing, videos and what have you. But that's the beauty of what the hobbyist more is evolved into, and it's something that I personally enjoy. Is why I like finding new people who are talking about how they like their games, because I can take what they might enjoy and be thinking like, you know what, I never thought about that before. Let me try that in my own games. Or this is a good point of view, not for me, but it's a good point of view, and that'll give me wisdom because I learn from talking to others.
And for me, the obsession with balance comes a lot from video gaming. I don't think we were too bothered with balance when we were playing games like D&D back in the 80s. But since a lot of people are playing video games online, so the focus is on keeping everybody at similar power levels. And I think Justin's absolutely right here. Balance is the first claim of a person who's more concerned about the stat sheet than their character. Are you feeling
I feel cold. I'm cold out.
Well,
no.
and also how you define balance. I mean, to me, balance could easily be a fighter is going to mop the floor with a magic user every time they fight each other. But a cleric is going to knock the heck out of a fighter, and a magic user is going to beat a cleric. That is balance. Everybody doesn't have to beat everything. They just they should each have. We've talked about the niche or the specialty before. As long as they each have one, that's balance.
Yeah. Go on, Bear.
For me, balance is a whole other beast. Balance is the balance between the game mechanics and your role playing. We upset the apple cart if we go all mechanics. We upset the apple cart if we go all role playing. there's a balance between the middle. And you guys know this. If you spend any time talking, you know I'm a middle path walker as a general rule. I believe in the middle way. The game mechanics matter. The role-playing matter. Find the balance between the two. Too much of one will upset everything. Just the way it is,
Yeah.
in my opinion. But it's an opinion. I'm not saying this is law. I'm not saying this is fact. I'm just saying it's how I feel.
I like spotlight balance as much as possible. If I can move the spotlight around the group while we're playing and get all the players involved to the level they want to be involved, then that's what matters to me. It doesn't matter that their characters are dealing the same amount of damage or having the same impact mechanically on the game. It matters that all the players are contributing something, assuming they're the sort of player who wants to speak out.
Now, before Saxus has an aneurysm, back on topic, the modules should absolutely follow the rules unless they break the rules, and then there should be an exception listed as to why they're breaking the rules.
But this is still very much on the top because we're still, basically working around the whole, what breaking the rules, why we got to break the rules, so on and so on. So it makes sense. I just want to build on John's point there because I have a very nice example where my real life group, when I introduced them to Curse of Strahd, there is in the 5e module, there's a set of mechanics for where the players basically have a card reading. They have a tarot card reading, and that then sets out the entire campaign. And it's a very important thing. There are mechanics behind it. There's a whole layout of things.
That's straight from the original module I6. Yeah.
Exactly. And so I ended up buying an actual tarot card, sets. I actually did the entire thing. But then when it came to the last card, I laid out all the cards in front of them and said, pick one. And you now have to, I had all the players go through the cards. I gave them no background for what they meant. There was just the cards there in front of them. And they now had to discuss amongst themselves what the final cards had to be put down. They had so much discussion amongst themselves in and out of character, narrowing it down, going through, having rock paper scissors, and that was a very big moment for kicking off the game because they knew they were making a big decision, but they had no insight for what it meant until everything was read out for them, and then that's where things sort of kicked off that campaign. They enjoyed it. It had mechanics, but the role play allowed them to basically overcome the fact that they were playing into mechanics, which made them more immersed.
The best is about the mechanics balancing with the with the role play.
Yeah.
There you have an example of meaningful mechanics, but mechanics that enhance role play and enhance player engagement.
Exactly, and it was a great one, and the players still refer back to that session till this day as a key point where they felt what I tend to do. They felt pressure because I tend to do that to my players, but they also felt a deep level of engagement because they now had to, it was a big decision, but it was a decision that they made as a group, and they all committed to it.
Good. I think. I firmly agree. I mean, I think the key for me regarding the whole balance thing is every player being in a position at some point to contribute towards a meaningful decision for the party as a whole. And some players will come to the fore, and some players are naturally bullish about how they approach the games. Some players are natural shrinking violets when it comes to this sort of thing. I will generally try to bring people out of their shell. If they just keep shrinking back, then I'll let them. But I like to try and shift the spotlight around where I can. I mean, certainly when you're playing online, it can be a little bit more difficult because you can't always see your players, and sometimes you might be trying to shift the spotlight onto a player who happens to be having a number 2 at that moment, or making themselves a cup of tea. They've got up and wandered away for a moment without telling everybody, which players do from time to time.
Or they fall asleep. You know.
Or fall asleep, yes.
Wow, they fall asleep. I've never
yeah.
seen that happen on a live stream before.
No,
Dan.
No.
That's never happened.
We are professionals here.
Oh, now see, back in the day, the first person to fall asleep, that was always the best because his character became the test subject. He'll put his hand in there. He'll drink that.
On a serious note, though, for things like specifically looking at the online, yes, it is an issue if you have players that decide that they need to stand up and leave or they need to do something, not even writing a quick BRB, because it's a 2-second thing that you throw into the chat, and then the game master can quickly see, okay, he's not there, I can move on and do something else. That's all that's really required, because, well, I know, having my phone usually in front of me, my wife sometimes goes like, well, she needs something or something needs to be done, and I then need to go like, okay, well, I need to find the right pointer and then quickly go like, okay, you're dealing with this BRB, I quickly go out, get it done, and then right back. Because that way the group then knows, or we find a perfect place to then go like take a quick 5-minute break where everyone goes and gets their drinks. The worst offender I've had was a player mid-game decided to have a bath, and that threw me off.
Did they actually take the camera in with them while they took a bath?
No, and I am so thankful, but I did hear them splash around in the water, and I was just like, I don't know what to make of this. It is genuinely I was so befuddled by this.
Now, I will admit, I know we're going off topic. On Fridays, well, actually, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, doesn't matter. Whenever I have my children, I do cook a lot. So, yeah, you guys have to deal with Kelsey because my tablet is under her. I don't know why. Don't ask me the technicalities. For some reason, it has to be under her Discord or whatever the hell it is. I can't remember.
Yeah.
So this is how your alter ego has come to life.
My alter ego is my 17-year-old daughter.
So you're not actually dressed up as your alter ego on a Friday night when we're not looking at you, is that what you're saying?
No, but the bad thing is we mix up laundry, and I can actually wear the same blue jeans and stuff as she does. So she'll go to school wearing my pants, and then I'll put on hers. I'm like, this isn't right. Something's wrong with her.
Hey, different strokes for different folks. Whatever you like to do, man.
No,
I just want
to
to stop you there because the image that has just conjured in this country here, pants are trousers.
It's
and
just
what you say when we say pants, we mean underpants.
No.
So
her
that what you said there, I pictured her going to school wearing your underwear and you going to work wearing hers.
John,
that's disturbing.
You're disturbing.
That's a you problem.
No,
that is a you problem, John.
That's John's issue.
Yeah, that's.
I agree, John. I didn't think of it that way, and I'm British too.
Yeah, that is.
For me, pants are.
No, I came to this country calling pants as in trousers, pants. Because that's what I've been doing it majority of my life.
Everywhere else in the English-speaking world knows the difference, but the English refuse to adapt.
I know,
yes,
and it was
because we won't.
She's almost as tall as me, maybe 1 inch shorter. And when the laundry gets done, stuff gets mixed up. And she'll go to school, be like, Dad, I wore your pants to school. And then I'm like, yeah, I wore yours to work. Speaking of which, love it. I'm sorry. That made goulash or something.
Were her ears burning then?
Dan's just outed you as a cross-dresser.
It's okay. So is he. He'll wear my spandex. When I played volleyball, I wore my spandex a lot, so they were always getting washed, and he wore them as underwear. So
yeah.
Oh wow, Dan, are you
Well,
keeping that secret, weren't you?
Should we
He
say
does wear
Danielle?
dresses too.
that
I
was
think
years ago.
that bit needs to be clipped for a short. I
I think
really
you need
do.
to change your name from Guns Are Cool to Frocks Are Cool.
Okay,
Well,
in my defense, and I know we're driving Saxius nuts right now.
Yeah.
In my defense, the dress, my wife had to modify a dress for a woman getting married, and I was about the same frame size.
Oh no.
Wow.
So I had to don the
So
Then-
D&D is a really great game that everyone can play together, and there's a rules. And
So I had
Please,
Okay, let's-
John, what is the next topic? We need a topic now.
Oh,
take control of your
right.
show, damn it.
Please. Yeah.
Kind of artist miniature thing that I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
Just-
Do you want the slightly controversial topic that I was going to leave
Just
for the last half
anything
hour?
God,
at
yes.
this point. Just
More
anything.
controversial than
No,
Dan Proctor.
Stop it,
no, stop.
Stop it.
For the love of God, stop.
What?
Are any of you familiar with general issues that are going on in gaming social media over the last 48 hours? The latest one?
Oh, this.
No,
Okay.
bring me up to speed,
No.
please.
Okay. Now, I'm going to ask you all a little question here.
Sure.
Larry
I think it might be
Elmore's.
helpful if you bring up the thing.
Oh,
on screen.
the Elmore Wizkids thing. Yes, I am aware of this one. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. I'm going to make a statement here as well.
Daniel, you know what's going on?
No, I do not.
Okay. You know the picture from the BECME
Basic.
rule books, the basic D&D rule book.
The fighter
Yeah.
against the dragon. We only see the fighter from behind.
With the sorceress or whatever.
No. Just the basic box, the basic red set box. The dragon coming at the guy, and the guy's got the sword, and we only see the back of the fighter.
Yeah.
It's like the most famous
yeah,
D&D
okay.
picture ever. Okay,
Yeah.
go ahead.
In that picture, tell me what you see. In fact, I'm going to bring up the picture now, and I want all of you to honestly tell me what you see in as much detail as possible.
I wanted
gonna
to
bring
get
it up.
I wanted to get Larry back on the show after this came out yesterday. I'm like, we got to talk to Larry again.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
This is where I found out about all of this. On a lovely place.
There's your
you know,
first
Twitter.
mistake. You're on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do read on there occasionally. I
Okay,
don't
now-
read there very often.
To go back to the first 10 minutes, this is where encumbrance comes into play. How the hell are you going to get all that gold out of there? Anyhow.
Yeah.
Vacuum of
Yeah.
holding.
Him getting the gold out's not even a question. The question is, did he breathe 2 times or 3?
Yeah. Right. Okay. So describe what this is a picture of in detail.
John, it's a man fighting a dragon. We all know. Don't bury the
Of course,
lead.
this is a man fighting a dragon. Okay. Does anyone disagree with that?
Nope.
No,
Anybody disagree with that statement? Has anyone ever?
I've never
thought-
seen it but until yesterday, and I wouldn't disagree with it.
I mean, has anyone ever thought this is anything other than a man fighting a dragon?
Let me guess, it's a woman.
No, you're wrong. But
This
according
is-
What
to
do they,
WizKids,
what do
it
they
is.
identify
Show
as? That's what's important.
Yeah,
Show them
exactly.
the WizKids thing.
Pretty
Show them WizKids, man. Do you have the WizKids loaded up?
I might do. I
bet you do, you
do.
sneaky fuck.
He's actually being organized. I'm shocked. I need to clip this more than I need to clip
Right.
anything else.
Right. When you Straw Piglet, when you first saw this illustration, you thought it was a woman, did you? Is that due to the
Guessing
long
it.
hair?
Well, my entire reasoning was the muscularity struck me to be more of a masculine. Yes.
Yeah. And the author, so the artist, Larry Elmore, in an interview, confirmed that the BECME rulebook covers, Basic, Expert, Masters, Companion, Immortal, show the life of one particular individual progressing through the levels.
Yes.
And I can't remember whether it's Companion or Masters where you first see the full face of that individual.
It's
And
something
he's
like that.
clearly a bloke.
You have a big mustache in the companion rules.
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's also like
And-
go on.
And in Immortals, big rippling muscles, bare chested, and all that sort of stuff. No boobs on sight.
I can
No.
honestly tell you, in that fight scene, you're a dead person. There's
Anyway,
no
so
way a single fighter is going to take on a red dragon and win.
not
Sorry.
without a lot
So-
of magic. Anyway,
Yeah,
what is it that
exactly.
WizKids? What is WizKids coming out and saying? They're saying here this identifies as a what? As a toothbrush or
Oh no! It gets
Okay.
better than that. They've released a figure of this character.
Let me read this out. A D&D mini from the upcoming 50th anniversary WizKids release reveals the identity of the Red Box Warrior, a mysterious fighter from an iconic art piece. WizKids is creating a miniature that reveals new information about one of the oldest D&D characters. Though you might not even have thought of them as a character before, it's the warrior from the front cover of the 1983 Red Box, only ever glimpsed from behind. No, the same warrior appears from the front in Companion, Masters, and Immortal, as confirmed by the artist who drew it, Larry Elmore. Seen facing off against a powerful red dragon, this is our first proper look at the character, and according to WizKids' interpretation, it's a girl.
It's an
This
ugly
di-
girl.
This D&D mini is one of a huge number of models found in WizKids' upcoming D&D Icons of the Realms 50th anniversary booster boxes, celebrating the tabletop RPG's 50th birthday. The collection has a bunch of minis that celebrate classic art from the series, like a paladin and fiend from the AD&D front cover. Good! It also has tons of both modern and classic interpretations of recognizable D&D monsters. Good! Nothing wrong with that. Oh, but look. Since the character, who, if we had to guess at their class, is probably a D&D barbarian or a 5e fighter. No. This was basic D&D. This was a fighter. Has never been seen from the front before. Lies, they have. Companion, Masters, Immortals. The true identity has always been unknown. No. If the writer of this article had even done a little bit of research before writing this,
Why would they
they'd
do
have known
that? Why would they do that? They don't research.
Why would they do
Come
that?
on.
Why would they do that? It's likely most players in 1983 assumed they were a man, but as our own Tim Linwood puts it, there's nothing particularly gendered about long hair and tight calves.
Yeah.
Okay. It's drawn in the 80s.
yeah, but that's also what I want to point out next. Like there was a very specific way of doing the drawing in that era. Like
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mass
Do you have
Massacre.
Elmore's response?
What?
Do you have Elmore's response to this?
I will find it.
Okay, because
As you can see,
yeah.
it's very good. As you can see from behind the model is a near. As you can see from behind the model is a near perfect match for the original artwork by Larry Elmore. I put in mind of the original Metroid game, also from the 1980s, which revealed at the end that the badass protagonist had been a woman the entire time. Gasp! Oh, I mean that reminds me of. Do you remember the Prodigy song "Smack My Bitch Up"? Anyone know that song?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Unfortunately.
Yep.
Do you remember the video to it?
Of course, I remember the video. It was shocking for us in the 90s.
Absolutely. It was a woman being beaten up by her partner. And everybody went, oh, domestic violence, horrific, man beating up woman. Until you watched the end of the video and you found out her partner was also a woman.
Yeah,
So-
we're missing the obvious explanation for this. That was 1983. That was Bruce
Yep,
Jenner
yep.
posing for that.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
Wizkids told comicbook.com,
Oh my
who
God.
originally revealed the model, that it had made a clear and deliberate choice to present the Red Box Warrior as female. The company might be expecting some controversy around this decision, given, for instance, the way certain corners of the internet recently kicked off about the possibility of female Adeptus Custodes. I had no idea what these were until this happened,
Nope.
and I looked up the lore, and they rewrote the lore because the lore had originally said something about them being created by a chromosome being mutated, a chromosome that
Okay.
only men have.
All right. No. So the entire history on that specific part of the Warhammer 40,000 has been stating that the Custodes is an army of of specifically men that are the warriors of the god emperor of the Imperium. That is what it's been saying throughout countless editions until the most recent 10th edition, where they do a small passage going, by the way, there is now like 1 or 2 female Custodes, which is rewriting, I don't know, like 40, 50 years worth of set in stone history.
You fucking bigot! How dare you? You horrible, horrible misogynist prick!
Something else I also found out though about them isn't there an entire army of really badass female characters in Warhammer 40k?
Adeptus Sororitas, yes, and they are fucking kick-ass.
There you go. So you already have. Can you get male ones of those yet?
No, you can't unless you want to make an entire army of just priests, but that's gonna look creepy. I do want to put in like it's absolutely epic that the sororitas or the sisters of battle, as they're commonly referred to as, one of their units is an actual organ, a piece, the organ, the musical organ, where like they play the music and they shoots out missiles at the enemy. Like that is badass.
If you want to go with priests, you could stylize it as Templars.
Oh yeah, no, the Black Templars are. Sorry, I'm boring there now.
No.
Right.
I just fucking can't stand 40k. So every time everybody gets off on 40k, my brain goes do 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 do.
That's fair enough. I'll stop here. I'll stop here.
No, it's
I'll
okay.
keep reading.
Do what you want, man. Do what you want.
But even if we didn't have that current example, it's just the way the internet is, i.e., horrible, isn't it? However, I'm of the view there probably isn't going to be much of a ruckus here. At the end of the day, the identity of the nameless, faceless warrior on this D&D book, I'm saying it, look, the same warrior as the artist has stated. The artist, the one who drew this picture, has stated, same one, not faceless, because the face is on later books. Do your research. Not, it's probably not something many Dungeons and Dragons fans have given much thought to. Maybe not. Maybe not if you only played basic D&D. Or any of us saw this one, at least not recently. Well, of course you haven't recently because it's an old version of D&D. It's an old piece of art. So there are likely no perceived notions that have been shattered. No gates here to keep, if you will. Can you see the tone that this article is already setting?
But why are they calling us cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers in the next paragraph? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
That's
Upsetting or not, it's a cool little Easter egg in a miniature set, absolutely stuffed full of Easter eggs and references. The other miniatures sound brilliant. The Wizkids Icons of the Realm 50th anniversary set is available to pre-order from its store now and expected to release in July 2024. Blah, 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 blah. That's basically where it ends.
Yeah, look at the writer, staff writer Matt Bassel. He's a fucking ginger. What do you expect? I mean, my people sometimes.
Hey, now.
That's coming from a ginger, by the way. And we have another ginger sat beneath him.
Ginger can call another ginger.
I don't
But
have
hear
a
that-
full.
I
so
mean,
can
do you
say what I
have
want
the
to.
picture where they redid that for the silver anniversary, for the 25th anniversary?
Which
No.
one is that?
This one?
Oh.
No.
Oh.
I have a couple. I have more than a couple of the 25th anniversary stuff, but I don't think I have that.
Right, so
No.
now we've read the article. What gets me here is why have they done this? If not just to create a bit of publicity. And the writer of this article, it's commonly, I mean, I saw big arguments on Twitter. Why do you care? Why do you care? And I replied, if I can bring up my reply. Oh no, where was it? My reply here. I wasn't to this one. It wasn't to this one. Let's go back. Oh, we're going back. Here we go. Why do we care? One, this image helps shape our imaginations. For us, the awkward kids who found our home in D&D, this is important. It's our nostalgia. Those of us who started, this was the first D&D box set I had. I bought this at the same time as the Cook Moldvay expert set. I know it's two different versions. I didn't know. I didn't care. Didn't matter. So this helps shape my... I care because it's not only is it twisting the image of that character in my head. I have never thought of that character as being female. It's part two is just as important for me. The tone of this article is ridiculously condescending, and that only serves to fuel the frustration. Those who tend to argue against people who speak up and say, please don't change things, are so condescending. It's ridiculous.
If I may.
Yeah.
Larry responded on Facebook. This is what Larry said.
Do you want to share it? Do you want to share it?
Yeah, I can share it. He said, I recently was asked a question. Just give me a second. I'm going to share it here in a second.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up, but if you've got it already there.
I got it ready to go because I love Larry. He's a great guy. He was a great guest. And he's just an amazing person. He says, I was recently, let me make that bigger for everybody at home. There you go. I was recently asked a question about the ancient red painting I did for the cover of Red Box Edition. Did you paint a male or a female? It's a man. Gary didn't know what he wanted. All he wanted was something simple that would jump out at you. He wanted a male warrior. If it was a woman, you would know it, for I'm pretty famous for painting women. For this specific painting, while I hide the face of the warrior so it is anonymous, it was painted as a man. You can interpret it however you want, for that is the magic of art. But I'm answering a question that was asked without context. Now, the dragon, on the other hand, and P.S., just to be clear, the thing that I love about D&D was that anyone can be anything in this game, male, female, both, neither. It does not discriminate. It's a game of imagination. You can be and do whatever you want. But he clearly painted a man.
He did.
Dude looks 100%. Like a lady.
100%. 100%. And his answer there has been complete crickets. Absolute crickets.
Yeah, no one's going to talk about it because they look like idiots.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely. And you're right, Mac. They keep taunting, and they will keep taunting. And then they say, oh, why? Why do you care? Why are you responding? Why do you care? Why do you care? I don't play 5e anymore. I'm not going to buy any Wizards of the Coast products. I'm not going to buy any Wizkids miniatures. But I do care about the constant changing and the constant taunting. And then how we are then portrayed when we react as being the bad people in this. That's the bit I care about. Because it's relentless. It is relentless. Can't things be left alone?
No. Evil cannot create. Evil can only mutilate and twist and turn and make dark. Yeah. You understand? And this is evil. Listen, I'm not a religious man. I'm not going to just get on some Christian pulpit. I'm just going to say this behavior that we are living through right now is evil. It is marginalizing people. It is dividing society. It is causing hate and strife within families. This is evil. And I will not argue with anyone. I will not discuss it. I'm just saying my view.
And to give you an idea as well, quite how this lands, I hope the person in question doesn't mind. I'm not going to name them, but I brought this up after the game last night. And one of the players in that game was probably, I would describe him as being the most left-leaning and progressive person on my Discord. We've got a wide range of people on the Discord. We try and avoid talking about politics. We've had the odd little spat here and there, only very minor in my opinion, and glossed over because it's about gaming. It's about playing games. And even that person on hearing this said, basically, enough. This is too much. Why? So it is going too far. It is going too far, in my opinion. And it is a constant barrage of poke, prod, until you get a reaction. Then, oh, look at you. You're the bad guy now. You reacted. How can you not accept this? And it is so
Intellectual
frustrating.
bullying is what it is.
Yeah.
Well,
And then it's victim. As soon as you strike back, it's victimhood. Now they've got
Absolutely.
their points. Now they got what they wanted, which was they provoked you into a reaction.
Yes.
they,
Because we're not
they-
allowed to react. We're not allowed to say no.
Chihuahua.
They take away. They take away a little bit at a time until you realize that they took away too much, but by then it's too late, and everything's been taken away from you, and then
I mean,
you don't have, and then you don't have a foot to stand on.
I mean, there is the fact that we still have our games. We still have the games we like. We like to play them, and we will always have that. It's just for me.
My wife even knows. She's like, Saturday mornings, she leaves me alone. Wednesday afternoons, and I feel bad I missed out yesterday, but my wife knows Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yeah, it's gaming time.
Yeah,
Gaming time. Talking about games, playing games, whatever.
It's my relaxation time.
And we love the games. That's why we're here now.
Yep.
That's why we are here talking. We enjoy games. And I'm going to reiterate that I don't give a shit what your stripes are. As long as you are willing to play the games that I like to run,
And have fun.
I am willing to run the games for
and
you.
behave. Yep.
It's as simple as that. It is as simple as that. I don't care what you want to do, what you want to, what happens in your bedroom, any of that sort of stuff. As long as nobody's being hurt.
Justin's comment is worth it.
Although, what was
They take, and then you're an old man wearing your 17-year-old daughter's pants to work.
Oh, all right, okay. Fuck you, Justin.
Dude, thank you. Welcome to my club. That's a bad Thank you, Justin.
I'm joking, by the way. Yeah, that's what happens when your kids are the same size as you.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
Thankfully,
was
my
funny,
kids are
though.
both slimmer than me.
I do give Justin credit for that. That was fun.
But Bears, but I was gonna show Larry Elmore's response because I think that was perfect. I think he summed it up absolutely perfectly, and it is
I want to see
shameful.
Tim Kask's response.
Oh yeah,
Because Tim Kask is an outspoken son of a bitch. I would love to see him go off about this.
oh yeah.
Thank you, Halakar. Thank you, Halakar. Who got the gifts?
In honor of Justin.
Name the gift recipients, please. Somebody.
Andy, Green Apple, Zadrock, Jason Jacobson, and Eagle Rider.
Andy, as in Andy.
It just says Andy.
It's Andy. Andy. And Zatarok is Mrs. Squirrel Hermit.
No.
So there's two names there.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's right.
To kind of get back on topic about modifying modules and stuff.
That was the topic
That was
an
the
hour
previous
ago.
topic, Daniel.
Right. Dude,
you were just
wear your
laying
own
us-
pants
'cause
because
you-
the daughter's
yeah.
ones appear to be causing a circulation flow to your brain right
Correct.
now.
Yeah. But no, like, okay, I'm going to go back. What I was going to do, we didn't have enough people to run Saturday, but I had to go through and modify a bunch of stuff. I rarely have ever gotten any pre-written module. I don't care if it's from Dungeon Magazine or one that I went to Walden Books or whatever other bookstore that I did not have to work on. Just because it didn't fit your group. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, if I run this XYZ, I'm going to have a TPK, or if I run it as is, they're going to walk through and get way too much stuff. So
modifying amounts of creatures or whatever in a module, I think is quite normal. I mean, I think maybe the point with that was modifying the rules, and where the module itself tries to modify the rules in order to tell its own story without any real explanation.
yeah.
That's the bit I'm against generally. Right, I'm just seeing as nobody's telling me who got those ones. I'm just loading
the
up.
second batch was Shadow,
Yeah.
RPG Dad, John Cassis, Marty Hewitt, and Man in Hades.
I think I recognize two of those. I think with the
RPG
Shadow
Dad
and Son.
is regular.
Shadow and Son.
Yeah. RPG Dad's a regular as well. There we go. Good. So at least 4 regulars in the Discord or the channel have just received memberships. Thanks to Halakar and Daniel. Cheers, chaps. Always gratefully received. So,
Well, guys, I'm gonna go. I have my
Okay.
children tonight, and dinner just got done. So
Okay,
I'm
make sure you
gonna
wear the
bail.
right pants.
yeah,
yeah.
make sure I separate the laundry instead of my kids. Yeah.
Separate your kids. It's easier.
Have a
Divide
good
and
night,
conquer.
guys.
Bye. I will have to call it an evening for me as well. And, yeah, thanks for having me.
This is where cheers, chaps. Thank you for joining in. This is what I was going to show you, but Bear's already shown you. I have.
Oh, I'm such a jerk. I apologize.
There we go. And that was my I did tweet there. Now the legend that is Mr. Elmore has waded in. That was his comment. But I think part of the point here is there was no shortage of badass female characters in D&D. Iconic female images, many of those painted by Mr. Larry Elmore. Look at some of his pictures of Gold Moon in Dragonlance, for example, or Alina, the gorgeous cleric who helps you at the beginning of the basic adventure. These would have made great miniatures.
Oh no! The cleric within the book for the character class, that Mongolian looking.
Oh
cleric,
yeah.
I would die for that miniature.
Absolutely. Larry Elmore painted very distinct female characters, very iconic female characters, and they didn't choose to use those. Instead, they chose to stir the hornet's nest. Now, why have they done that? Is that just to piss us old guys off? Or is it really an insidious way of just attracting attention to these miniatures? Because they know the fact that we're talking about them now, more people will know about them. Is this underhand marketing by Wizkids?
Well, it depends on how you want to look at it. I mean, if you go far enough back in psychology, the original practitioners of the art said that we have the Thanatos drive and the Eros drive. So it's either to kill something or to have sex with something. So therefore, men will do pretty much anything if they think it's going to get them a piece. So I think he's pandering. Whoever wrote that is pandering to women because he thinks that's going to give him a feather in his hat.
You reckon? The guy? Yeah. What about Wizkids themselves, though? Here, what about Wizkids? The fact that they're doing what they're doing, are they doing it to stir something up to get attention? Is this a form of advertising nowadays?
I would say they're doing it for money, but if you look at how all the most recent Marvel things that have made this switch are tanking, it's not a good financial choice.
Because they're appealing to a smaller demographic, aren't they, with this sort of thing? I don't know.
I'm curious if just some guy is going to have a video about this.
Yeah, that guy. Never mind.
I like some of his stuff. Some of it is a little beyond the pale.
Who? Which guy?
Just some guy. JSG.
I don't know him.
He did a really good one about how Lord of the Rings, the TV show, just absolutely bastardized Tolkien. That was the first one I saw, and it's like, I like this guy, but then some of the things he's done after that, not so much in my ballpark.
Yeah, I think Duralumin, it definitely seems to be fan baiting. And for the mere fact I'm bringing it up, I mean, I don't normally bring this sort of thing up. I might bring it up a little more often, but I want to discuss it in this sort of way rather than rant and rave. It's got the attention that it needs, and you're right, Cody. It is attention seeking, but what got my goat up was the way that article phrased it all. And to be honest, I am really becoming sick with the condescending tone and how we are made out to be so evil all the time and unwelcoming, and we were all hideous gatekeepers and all that. And it's absolute bullshit. That's the thing. It is absolute bullshit. But people hear it so much that I think a lot of people who don't know any better believe it. And it's really sad.
They absolutely believe it. I mean,
it's really
the
sad.
place where I go to listen to bands every now and then had an 80s night a while back. And the 20 and 30-year-olds who came in dressed up as what they thought the 80s looked like just blew my mind. You know, I know the woman that owns the place. We worked at McDonald's together in high school. And it's like, Donna, did you know anybody that dressed like that when we were in school? And she says, not a damn one. But that is the belief that the mass populace has as far as what that was like.
Yes, no one has any idea exactly how much fucking brown existed in the 80s.
Everybody there was
so much fucking brown. It was insane.
Here that was a hangover from the 70s.
Yes, here too, by the way.
Now, see, we had a lot of blue because, you know, Jordache and Calvin Klein, and at least that's all I was looking at.
But yes, we had a lot of brown and orange cars because all my parents could afford was rock boxes from the 70s that were brown and orange with velour upholstery. And yeah, my dad used to have to fix them on the driveway all the time because they always broke down. Terrible. Yeah, awful. So have we beaten this horse to death? Has anyone got anything else to say about this other than what I've already said?
I do have something to say. Despite how amusing this has been, who cares? Who gives a fuck? We're just old men yelling at clouds if we buy into all this bullshit. It's time to let it go. It's time to move on. It's time not to worry about it anymore.
The problem
is
when
out
we
there
do
for us. No, there is no problem with it. There is no problem, John. We, by doing this, are playing exactly into what they want. By talking about it, commenting on it, all that. Larry Elmore made his statement. Nothing more need be said. I mean, really.
I have to say, I have a problem with the constant dissemination of lies, though. I'm an old pedant. I know what is being said is quite simply untrue.
Okay, but what are you going to do about it other than rant?
What can we do?
That's the thing. Find something to do about it. Well, I don't know. Tell me. Tell me what we can do. It's all well and good. We sit around, and for the last 5 to 10 years, we have let Western culture just slip through our fingers and become something unrecognizable now, where people are literally calling for genocide, thinking that they're on the right side of history. And we've just complained. That's all we've done as a generation. All Gen X has done has been Gen X about it, which is we just go, whatever. It's stupid. I don't like it, but whatever. And that's why we are the forgotten generation. And that is why we will have zero impact on the future of society. Because whether they're right or wrong, and we all have our opinions on where they are, the generation before us and the 2 generations after us do things. We don't. We are the whatever generation, right? That was our thing. Whatever, well, we're here now, and this is what whatever has brought us.
We are too lackadaisical about it all, aren't we? We're too lackadaisical.
So in Canada, we have an expression. I don't know if you guys use this in England. I know the Americans probably don't. We go, well, I'm going to write a sternly worded letter, sir.
Oh yeah,
Like
That's
that's the Canadian response. You know?
That's the English side of you coming out. That's what we do.
Exactly. Whereas the Americans are, well, I'm about to burn some shit to the ground, is what the Americans do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So as Gen X, we were very Canadian about the affront.
you
that
say
we're
that like there's a problem.
Yeah, you burn everything to the ground. You don't have anything left. So that's where we're having this problem, is that we are stuck in this world of nothing I can do about it. I don't like it. I'll shake my fist and write a sternly worded letter, but there's nothing I can do about it. Well, then it's going to keep happening. So we have one of two choices. We either accept that this is happening and we're just old men yelling at clouds, or we figure out what positive we can do to affect change. At least how I feel.
Okay,
Naturally,
so in my game, which is mostly 1E with a couple of house rules, one of the guys that plays invited his wife along who had never played D&D before, so I have exposed a whole new person to 1E. So there.
Yeah.
That's something.
And I don't even know how my brother's girlfriend's kid, whatever that makes him to me, nothing basically, saw me painting miniatures and wants to play, so I might get to teach a little high school kid some real D&D.
And I think that is precisely the answer. We need to play more, invite people in, but they have to. I mean, there becomes the whole issue of gatekeeping. That dirty word. You have to gatekeep your own game. You have to invite people into your game who will not disrupt it.
Gatekeeping has gotten a bad rap. I mean, back in Ghostbusters, a gatekeeper wasn't a bad position. We need to get back to that frame of mind.
Yes. But yeah, we need to bring in people who we are of the right mindset. The mindset of, I want to play a game. I want to enjoy a game. I'm not going to use the game to score points. And we need to do that as much as possible and play as many games as possible with as many people who have adult attitudes as possible.
Well, these boys have done the video game thing to death because, they're teenage kids. So I'm going to say, hey, this is a whole lot different than it is in the video game. You don't have a respawn point. You don't just, when you die, you don't make a corpse run to get all your gear back. It's a whole different world. Now, which one of these, and neither one has to be more fun than the other, but isn't it fun to have to think your way through something and be able to outsmart to overcome an opponent as opposed to just clicking a button over and over?
Yeah.
And maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't have kids of my own. I might be very, very far separated from that generation. But for me, when I was that age, solving a problem was awesome. I loved doing theorems in math class because they were like a puzzle that nobody but me in class could figure out, and I loved it. So I mean, that kind of stuff is part of what excited me when I first started playing Dungeons and Dragons. The very first adventure I ever went through was White Plume Mountain, and I got the riddle. I didn't think it was that hard, but the fact that that to me, that's like, aha! I showed you, writer of this module.
We've got Dungeon Minister in chat, bringing up 3 boys in the Beck Me way. Yeah, and hopefully those 3 boys will grow up to run their own games for their own friends and their own children.
And just for the record, John, I'm not criticizing you because I feel the same frustration you feel.
Yeah.
But I've been feeling this for almost 10 years now. And I'm tired of feeling frustrated. I want to feel something other than frustrated.
So what we need to do, I think, is we need to play more games and put those games out there and show how those games are fun.
That works
how
for
those
me.
games, and show how those games are, how we have a wide spread of people in our games. We don't keep people out of our games by any metric other than, are they the right player in terms of how they play. Simple as that. Obviously, not every game style will suit every player. Not every DM is ideal for every group. We all have different preferences, but as long as you can align your game style preferences to your group, and that is all that you are, that is the only style of gatekeeping you do, then and we get it out there that we are happy to play games with anybody as long as they're there to enjoy the game, then that's what matters. That's what matters.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
RPG Dad,
so what are we
you're
gonna
right.
play?
I don't know. I mean, RPG Dad, you are right. It doesn't help that WotC have fostered the current. The companies are leaning into the crowd that really are not constructive in any way, shape,
sorry,
or form.
guys. I'm back now.
Don't be
Don't
sorry,
you worry.
dude.
Iman, have you caught what we're talking about? Because
I've been sort of listening on and off.
You are a perfect example of a newcomer to the hobby who has come in and embraced it and played the games and respected the games and hopefully enjoyed the games.
Like I needed more ego inflation.
No, but that's that. I think that's.
No, I appreciate you saying that.
I think that's what we need. It doesn't matter that you are 20 years younger than most of us and brown, whereas we're old, bald white men. It doesn't matter one jot. It's just how you play at the table. And
exactly. Yes.
That is all that matters. And you can become friends with these people.
As I've made friends with all of you lovely people. To be fair, I have to I have to give credit where credit's due. All right, fine, best friend. Is that better?
Which were you offended by, bear friend or
besties? We're besties.
But look, I have to give credit where credit's due. I mean, I can think of so many people who are in the same hobby who would be very gatekeeping towards new players, but you guys have been very welcoming, understanding, patient, kind. What more could I ask for?
I think when you come up to genuine gamers who are in the hobby for the right reason, they wouldn't be gatekeeping. Unless you turned out to be the sort of player who disrupted the game. Mm-hmm. It's as simple as that.
Pretty much, yeah.
It is as simple as that. It's what matters is why we play the games. We play the games to have fun, for camaraderie.
Yes, first and foremost, yes.
To have fun, bit of camaraderie, bit of banter, bit of chat, and just to spend time with like-minded people. Yeah, Andy, you can be as offended as you like, but it's the old Stephen Fry quote about offense, which was magnificent.
What's the plan?
So there we go. I've beaten this as much as I really want to. The whole situation.
Thanks for stroking my ego, John. I appreciate it.
That's all right. I've beaten this as much as I really want. I mean, yes, as Bear says, he feels the frustration as well. I guess I haven't felt as frustrated as long as Bear has, because I largely wasn't part of the internet circles till about 2016, 2017, and I gradually found out what was happening over time as I got back into the hobby and got myself more and more involved in it. So it's actually, John, it matters a lot. Welcoming new players like Iman and teaching them the old ways, how it will live on after we're gone. It's a responsibility. Okay, yeah.
Like I'm not going to take your ways and bastardize them.
Well, you can do what you want with it.
We did. We bastardized the ways of the ones before us.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. We play the game how we like
I suppose,
it.
I suppose a better way of saying it would probably be an amalgamation, because there's little bits of all of your styles that I could just take and use in my own.
Yeah. Hello, Marty. Yes, Halakar and Daniel both gave out 5 memberships, and you were one of the lucky recipients. Nice to have you popping in and saying hello.
Oh,
Did any of you guys get the Lakofka, the LA modules that were just put up for free on PDF?
I still haven't. No.
Okay,
I know
actually,
you linked
there's
to them.
4 of them. There were 2 of them they put out last year that I didn't realize, but I'm looking for it in here. Each one of them has like a background and suggested play and all that. And of course, the one I grabbed doesn't have the quote, but it says this was originally written to be played this way and this and that. But as Len would say, do it however you want. We didn't. I don't think we bastardized the game, because a lot of the creators, before they got a burr under their blanket, told us, here are the rules, but it's your game.
Yeah. Of course, Gygax got a little bit funny about that when he started taking the corporate line.
Yeah.
But initially he was like, yeah, do what you want. Do what you want. So if it's fine for him, it's fine for all of us. It's fine for all of us. Do what you want. So everybody, do what you want.
Okay,
Have fun.
I'm going to start a world war.
You don't really want to do that, though.
Says
I don't
you.
think that would be that hard, really. I mean, pick a harder task.
Okay, I'm going to start a world war against cheese.
Oh, hey,
I'd join you in that one. Cheese is evil. Poisons
And
me.
at the last second, I will reveal that I've been cheese all along.
At which point
Pizza
I would
Hut.
melt, I would point my weapon at you and melt you.
Maybe. Roll for initiative, bitch.
So on a tangent to our last topic there, miniatures. Why the hell did they switch from 25 millimeter to 28 millimeter? That's ridiculous. All my new dwarves are taller than my old humans, and I don't like it.
It's because they predicted that your eyesight would get worse, and it's
Oh, is
easier
that
to
it?
paint bigger miniatures. They were trying to help you really there.
All right. The worse my eyesight, the better my paint jobs look to me.
I can't eat cheese. It's not about not liking cheese. I can't eat it. It doesn't like me. So there. When I'm in Canada, do not feed me cheese, because the however big the hall is, it won't be big enough to escape from that gaseous cloud. You have been warned.
do not feed him cheese for fear of everyone else at Clericon running away.
Absolutely. Right. Anyway, I've battered that bit. I think there has to be people who speak out, but unless you speak out, it just keeps.
Let me rephrase what I said then about the speaking out. We're old. No one cares what we say. We need people like Iman's generation to start speaking out. Unfortunately, I'm starting to see some young people actually saying some sensible, rational things on the internet lately. YouTube interviews, channels, what have you. And it's quite good to see, because it means that this entire fucking nightmare is on its way to ending.
Well, the good thing is, if you have people like me who actually listen to guys like you, then, I can tell my generation of dickheads what you guys want them to know.
Do it.
No
Do
cap.
it, Iman. You are now our spiritual leader, Iman. You are no longer Iman's son. You have graduated.
We like to
are
throw a
now
lot
the
of words
spiritual-
around here I don't agree with, like leader and friend. Maybe we could just take it down to spokesperson and associate.
No, I think I'd rather refer to him as Sensei now. Sensei, Iman.
Useful minion.
Sifu?
But yeah, you're right there.
When the
Bear.
student
You're right
becomes the master, we will know, because he will have his own D&D group with people his own age and won't have time to play with us anymore.
there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, don't say that.
Yeah.
Good thing, brother.
I'll always make time for you guys. You know that.
That's not the point.
Poster boy. There you go.
Wait,
You are
what
poster boy.
makes you think I'll find people my age who are like me? I'm the only one.
So when I was your age, there were people that were like us to you that we thought were cool, and we would hang out with, and we'd bring other people to hang out with these cool people we do. And some of them would stick around and learn and become cool people like us eventually as they got older. You understand?
Mhm.
If you're going to be our
Yeah.
poster boy, if you're going to be our spokesperson, if you're going to be our prophet, dare I say, you must build a flock, sir.
Wait a minute. How old are you?
Hey, I've started. I've got a few people in my Discord server. I'm 29.
Damn, that was a long time ago.
So there you go, Iman. Not to put any pressure on you, not to put any pressure on you at all. But no, you
No
are
pressure.
Our future.
I
You
feel
are our
like
future.
no, I will take the responsibility gladly. I feel like if anyone can do it, it's me.
There we go. A positive attitude, an optimist. Do it.
Down straight, bro. Down straight.
Right, we've hammered this topic and we've got an answer. We've got an answer to the hobby's ills, and that answer is Iman. So, right.
Ha! You know what Iman means in Arabic? It means faith. The answer is faith. You've done yourself in, bro.
Okay. So we have 42 minutes of this stream left until
Part of me
pumpkin
really
hour.
wants to quote Firefly. Faith is a girl's name.
That's also the problem our generation has.
Technically, Iman
Gen
is
X
also
is
a girl's name.
way too cynical. We are way too cynical, and that's what undoes us, and that's what removes our agency and power in society. We're far too quick to make a joke about something and to dismiss it and take away the threat and the danger of it, because that's how we survived as children, right?
Yes,
We
it
figured
is.
out if we could laugh at it, it was no longer the threat we thought it was. Problem is, no one takes us fucking seriously because we're always cracking jokes.
There's a short video that Kevin Bacon did about what it was like growing up in the 80s. Yeah. It was all about getting nuked. On your way to the video store, if you had a friend that just didn't come back, probably got nuked.
Or abducted, or put in a van or something.
So 40 minutes of stream left. What do you want to talk about, chaps? Anyone in
I'm still pimping,
chat?
so if you haven't backed Heroic yet, please go back Heroic. $25 for a PDF,
I'm
and every
thinking-
$25 PDF back is actually the best way to go. You can always get the book later, print on demand for the same prices, but by giving us only $25 for a PDF instead of pushing us towards stretch goals, you allow us to build up a cushion for when shit goes wrong during the production process. We'll have that money to be able to throw at the problems. So if you don't mind, it would be helpful.
Good pimping. Good pimping.
The town that I designed my campaign about, that suffered all the damage in the flood.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks, they are reopening their big park. They've got all sorts of activities and stuff going on, and I'm thinking about putting up some flyers. Old school Dungeons and Dragons based on the Sanford flood. Anybody that wants to come play? I just don't know where I'd put them. I'd have to find some, maybe I'll meet up at the library or something.
So you want people who've lived through a flood to relive it in the form of a D&D game?
Yes, complete with the dead babies and everything. Actually,
Yes.
there was no loss of life in the actual flood itself. They got enough advanced warning, a lot of property damage, but yeah, there's some people that die in the beginning of the module, especially if the players miss some key rolls.
Are these based on real people?
I used names of some of the local families as family names, but I don't think any that anybody would recognize. And then my players, once they figured out what family they were from, I let them come up with their own surname, and I named those households whatever their surname was. So that's their, bit of immortality in the game, I guess, if you want to call it that. The town names are the same. The river names are the same. Well, close to it. Like instead of Sanford, it's the Sandfords, and instead of Beaverton, it's Beavertown. But it's still the Tittabawassee River and the Tobacco River and all of those.
So people will recognize these places.
Yes.
And just to address Justin's comment about me being the most cynical person he knows, thank you.
See, the I'm in two. I mean, I'm in two minds. I've you may you may well know I've written a Call of Cthulhu scenario that I'm. Thank you. When Slan turns up, I want to thank him because he has helped, offered help with layout. I've now just got to produce the text, which might take a long time. But where I've based that, I originally set it in a real village in Yorkshire. But I don't want people assuming it is that village, because I just went really loosey-goosey about everything that's in there. Didn't base any of the people on real people. I've never even been to that village. I only picked it because of its geographical location, and I liked the name. So I'm wondering if, I mean, I think I need to I think I'm going to rename it, because I don't
Yorkhampton.
Yorkhampton. But there you go. I could call it Yorkhampton and just slightly tweak the map.
Yeah, I'm
the map
sure.
That would work. That would work. And I did look at pictures of the village, and it looks like an idyllic little place. I have no idea what it was like in 1989, 1990 when the adventure
Probably
set.
lots of people going oi 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 and wearing studs in their leather. No,
a little farming village.
Wasn't late
farm.
80s teenagers in England stuck in the late 70s America? Weren't you guys just getting there, right? You were just trying to get those songs. I'm fucking with you, dude. I'm fucking with you.
No, we were ahead of you in terms of music.
Oh yeah,
I remember
I was alive in those days. You were not.
I remember old MTV. If it's a farm village, they're doing the safety dance. I saw it.
Hey now. That's, I agree. Everybody should be dressed like they're in a French Renaissance fair.
I say late 80s in Britain, it was the rave scene. Manchester.
So rationing from World War II was still about 50% almost done, so that's good. So nobody had anything.
No, it was completely done. Rationing ended in 1954.
No, it didn't. Everyone knows it went right through to the 90s. Come on, man.
No,
you can live in your denial, but it's okay.
No, it didn't. All this stuff about English food and everything, it's all come from the GIs hating English food in the early 50s because we were rationing.
Everybody hates English food. Please tell me one great English meal.
I'm going to
other than bangers and mash. I'll give you bangers and mash. What else you got?
I'm going to be preparing for the first time beef Wellington for my buddy.
Fish and chips is magnificent.
Everybody in the world does fish and chips.
Not like you get in Britain.
Go to Newfoundland. You'll find out how good fish and chips can be.
You don't get it. You don't get it like it is in Britain. Nowhere in America does it like it.
The full English fry. Are you talking about a fry up? Because that's Irish.
Fish and chips. You can't.
So you got fish and chips, brother. You got one, and we'll give you bangers and mash as a freebie.
But fish and chips is magnificent. Fish and chips just wins.
Yeah, but then we also have to deal with a menu that has, let's see, blood pudding. What else?
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous. Black pudding is gorgeous.
The whiff. Ugh.
Oh, it's magnificent. It's lovely.
No, it's not. Stop.
Have you ever tried haggis?
Yes, that's Scottish, not English. Nice try.
It's British. I'm just telling you, British.
It's not British. I said English cuisine.
English cuisine is fish and chips. It's fish and chips. A good roast dinner.
Listen. English cuisine is the devoid, like you cornered the spices market, but refuse to use them in your cooking, which is fascinating to me. Second, you got Scottish cuisine, which is mostly based on a dare. And then you've got Irish cuisine, which is based around, can I fry it or boil it? Jesus Christ, guys.
Scotch eggs, Cornish pasty, there you go. Toad in the hole, Yorkshire pudding. Yorkshire pudding is fantastic. Pork pies. Pork pie is glorious.
Nerds right. Nerd wins.
I love Indian food. Absolutely.
Stop talking about non-halal food. How dare you?
Go back to your shed.
I'm not even in there. I'm going there now.
God, tell me you live in Ontario without telling me you live in Ontario, Dungeon Minister. Ugh.
Sausage rolls, yes.
Your food is as bland. Never mind. I'm going to stop. Yeah, there's one of the best comedians in the world. I'll leave it at that.
Black pudding, Andy, you're right. Black pudding is absolutely amazing. It's fantastic.
C'est pas bon. Pas bon du tout. Non, pas du tout.
Lightly toast thick, fresh white bread. Cook 2 sausages, nice, good quality sausages, nice thick sausages. Slice them, lay them on the bread. So lightly toast the bread, lay the sausages on the bread. 2 slices of black pudding, fried until crispy, and then some fried onions over the top. Brown sauce. There you go. That is a breakfast in a sandwich.
That sounds disgusting.
It's glorious.
That is literally one of the most disgusting things I've ever heard of.
Oh my god, it just sounds vile.
Oh. But no, fish and chips. You can't get proper British fish and chips outside Britain. That's just a simple fact.
Yeah, okay, I disagree, but that's fine.
So there you go. There you go. And it is magnificent. And I will eat it once a week.
Most fish and chips places I go to are really bland, but Mother Hubbard's does a nice one. It's quite spicy.
Nerd wins again.
Andy, tripe is disgusting.
No thanks.
Yes. Tripe is disgusting. Brown sauce is great. Yes. Yeah. You are right. But good quality fish and chips. Anyway,
so many places conquered, so few recipes brought home, really.
Would you give your best stuff to somebody that just invaded your country? Come on.
They were eating the food while they were there, trust me. They could have brought it home anytime they wanted. My God, it's spicy. What's in it? Salt and pepper. What am I? Some sort of noble? Like, my God. Seriously. The fact that kebabs became popular in your country is, like, shocking to me. Because that's a flavorful, spicy meat, sir.
Yeah, it is. It's lovely.
And it's not boiled, fried blood thing. It's actual meat with spices and cooking.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep going because I'm loving watching everybody freak out in the chat and defend English food. It's so much fun. I don't give a fuck.
Andy's listing lots of good stuff here.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Is Andy British, by the way? Yeah, he is.
Yes, he is. Yes. Yes. Of course
when you grow up eating that shit, you think it's good food because you don't know any better. That's the point.
We have proper chocolate as well.
No, that I'll give you, but we do in Canada as well. So the only ones that have the chocolate that smells
Sorry,
of
Halakar.
Is those guys.
What?
Your chocolate
American
is
chocolate is just nasty, dude.
When I'm cooking, I always try to get Belgian chocolate.
That's
Belgian's good.
That's good.
Swiss chocolate's good too.
Good. Yeah, Belgian and Swiss are both good.
Yeah.
And I don't care what they say. White chocolate is not chocolate. Never will.
It's not. It's got zero cocoa in it.
Anyway, where was we?
It's just sugary, milky stuff.
The only thing that's good for is putting in a cookie with macadamia nuts.
I was trying to talk about the Call of Cthulhu adventure I was writing, baby.
I know, but we went off on a tangent about Yorkhampton and the cuisine available in Yorkhampton, which is just awful, I'm sure. But that's okay. Keep going.
If you ever decide to be honest, it's an extension of Forget Me Not, I can send you some really cool ghost stories and hauntings in the area where that takes place. There's a lot of old Indian burial grounds and places where the native schools that were run by the white folks buried all sorts of kids mysteriously, and there's all sorts of good stuff here.
Oh, quality!
The Michigan Dog Man is a really cool story.
That is actually good. The Dog Man's pretty good.
Yeah,
but no, that Call of Cthulhu adventure. The town is very close to Whitby, which just happens to be home to Britain's best fish and chip shops.
Okay.
Whitby fish and chips. Yes.
Where is Whitby? Is it down south?
Northeast coast. You should know. You're northern.
I'm northwest. It's the other side. We don't associate with them.
Of course you don't, do you? No. Lancashire versus Yorkshire and all that.
No. Life in a northern town. Yeah. Your little island.
Dream Academy, 1980 something.
80s, yeah. Your little island punches well above its weight constantly in its effect on the universe. It's astounding.
Yes, we do. We do.
I will always give you your props for that. You guys, for your size, you really punched above your weight.
Anyway,
well.
you were saying about British culture in the late 80s regarding music. I mean, here it was Manchester. It's bands like Happy Mondays were really big around that time. The whole rave culture.
Yeah, well, so we're going to blame you for rave? Is that what you're saying? We get to blame you guys?
Yeah,
for
I'm afraid you have got to blame us for.
Nice.
I just left it to Bruce here.
That's what.
Yes,
Iman, that's what I do with my
United
farts
States
for my
made
wife.
nitrous
Leave them to
oxide
brew.
readily available.
Okay.
What was that, Halaka?
I said, but it was the United States that made nitrous oxide readily available for all your raves.
Probably, yes. Yeah, they
Because-
weren't interested in nitrous oxide over here. Was it at raves? I'll tell you that now. There was these little
Whippets. See, this is why I don't like the thing that you said about me loving whippets, because I don't do that shit.
a whippet
No,
is a breed of dog, you northern.
No, but that's what the
Food.
youngins call those nitrous oxide canisters, whippets.
Do you know why they call them whippets?
Because they're supposed to be used for whipped cream.
Because they were in whipped cream cans. They'd go into the grocery store and they'd take whippet hits off the can on the shelves or in the coolers, and then people would come buy the goddamn stuff, and then there would just be
No propellant.
no propellant in it.
Yep.
Do 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 do.
Whippet, good indeed. That was Devo.
Devo.
Wasn't it? Yeah. But no, the rave in Manchester was sort of late 80s, and it was towards the end of all sort of like the goth alternative thing, just before industrial music sort of kicked in and the crusty sort of scene, and then we inherited Seattle, didn't we? We inherited Seattle's music.
Nirvana, let's go.
Indeed. I like.
There's
I
a
like
comedian
Nirvana.
that talks about grunge music. He said, he said grunge music is 100% the result of AIDS. He said up until AIDS hit, it was all ain't looking for nothing but a good time, all that kind of good hair metal. As soon as sex became something that was going to kill you, songs turned into grunge.
I disagree.
I'm not saying it's true. He's a
AIDS hit,
stand-up
like,
comedian, not a stand-up philosopher.
Well, there you go. Because AIDS hit in 83, 84, maybe even 82. We were hearing about AIDS all the time. So by the time grunge comes in the 90s, grunge was the punk rock reaction to prog rock. So prog rock creates punk, right? And then punk creates new wave, and we go from there. And then eventually we get LA glam hair metal. And grunge is the response to LA glam hair metal, which is, the complete opposite end of it, right? So you're right. It's nothing but a good time to, with the lights off, it's my stage
Exactly.
Yeah.
Dungeon Minister, you've just gone up in my estimation here because you just mentioned Ned's Atomic Dustbin.
Oh my God,
who were huge when I was at university. They're from my part of the world. Saw them live multiple times.
Can you move
in that era.
Some pretty left field shout.
Yeah, kill your television and Grace L. Green and tracks like that. Good.
How were you on Husker Du, Dungeon Minister? Were you into Husker Du?
I was never into Husker Du.
Yeah, it was a big staple in college radio at its time. Kind of like Alice in Chains and Jane's Addiction were too.
Yeah. Jane's Addiction weren't nearly as big over here. Alice in Chains had a bit of a
Jane's
following.
Addiction weren't very big over here either, man. They were just
they had one hit, been caught stealing, and that was about it.
That was about it.
Alice in Chains are really good though.
Yeah, Alice in Chains are great. But so is Jane's Addiction. Or should I say Juana's Addiction. But the thing is that a lot of the great 90s bands were not popular. And that's one of the things you have to start taking into consideration. Late 80s, early 90s, the best bands were not charting. They were not big. And that's the sad part of it all. The stuff that was big was whatever. I've finally come around on grunge to the point where I can listen to some of it now and go, okay, I see some good stuff in here. But at the time, I wanted to just burn it all to the ground, man. It just sounded like noise to me.
That's understandable.
You hate listening to Jane's Addiction? How about... oh God, what's the name of that band? Where's my mind? Tony's theme. The Pixies. How about the Pixies? How you on the Pixies?
Yes. Doolittle's one of the greatest albums ever.
I thought the music scene sucked so bad the 90s I started listening to country. And then country went shit in the 90s. That's the worst part. The 90s are like this musical void. You know what I mean?
Country in the 90s turned into rock from the 60s.
Oh yeah, no, old country, classic country, fantastic. Conway Twitty, Loretta Lynn, Freddie Fender, all that stuff.
Oh, Conway Twitty, wow.
Him on. You know your Conway Twitty.
I know some of his songs, thanks to Family Guy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Conway Twitty.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I can tell you've never.
Yeah, my dad listened to
been
stuff like
before.
Sons of the Pioneers and Marty Robbins and all that. So
Oh,
I grew
yeah.
up with more obscure older country.
Yeah, I grew up with
I've heard
Loretta
of-
Lynn, Red
I've heard of Marty
Sovine.
Robbins, I've heard
Oh my
of
God,
him.
tons of that
Johnny
stuff.
Cash was about the only mainstream country he had, and Dolly Parton. All the rest of it
Dolly
was.
Parton's a goddess, and Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I mean, she's a national treasure. She may not sing rock, but she deserves to be in some kind of music hall of fame.
Absolutely.
My old man was a Johnny Cash impersonator.
Oh, wow.
He called himself Johnny No Cash.
So over here, everybody thinks they're an Elvis impersonator.
When I was in college, me and my buddy got really high one night, and we decided we were going to start a Johnny Cash speed metal tribute band called Four Boys Named Sue. Nevertheless, we were really high, so that's what as far as the idea went. That and us screaming Johnny Cash songs at speed metal for the rest of the night, you know. So, Fulton Prison Blues is really can go up a notch. You can really push the speed on that one.
Now,
Clash, the beat, yeah.
if there's anybody in chat that was in the military, they will enjoy this. Everybody else, it might kind of go over your head. There's a group that did a remake of the Dolly Parton song Jolene, only it's called Jody. And if you were in the service, you know it's hilarious. Look it up. Jody was the guy that was still back home because he was too much of a word I won't use here to join the military, but he's
Pussy?
getting with your girl while you're overseas.
David, you can refer to me however you want. You can call me that annoying bald Englishman. You can call me by my real name. You can call me Geek, Yog, the old Geek, whatever you want. I'm not.
Sorry, Mac. I'm going to disagree on the 90s country. 90s country is where we started to see the Garth Brooks and that influence, and they started pushing it towards Southern rock more than it was country at that point in time. And now it's fully evolved into country music as Southern rock, you know, which is Southern rock is great, but not when it's pertaining to be country music.
I never got into that.
Anything else. Limey wankers. Nice. I like what the Australians call you guys, pommies. Prisoners of England. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, David. If you want to call me Limey Wanker in your blog post, it wouldn't bother me either.
I like him calling you old Blad Fart. I think Blad.
Old Blad
is
Fart.
good.
Yes.
That sounds like a weird D&D monster. Did you play QS1? No, you have to fight old Blad Fart at the end. Blad Fart. What's he? Old Blad Fart. Because there's young Blad Fart, but old Blad Fart's the one you got to watch out for. Al Qaeda killed country music. What the fuck, nerd?
What the fuck?
Blad Fart the Impaler.
Let's see if we can get a better word for impaler. Blad
Yeah.
Fart the. I don't know. I got Blad Fart the Incontinent. There we go.
That would be more apt. That would be more apt. Yeah. Because, where was we?
Who knows?
Talking
We're Gen
shite.
Xing all over the place. It's quite
We
nice.
are, yes, completely.
I feel almost like we're in a pub.
Blad Fart the Inhaler. There we go.
Ooh, he huffs his own farts and then breathes fire.
In
Toxic
the
gas.
immortal words of Bill
Versus
Clinton,
poison.
I didn't inhale.
Make a save. That'll answer whether you did or you didn't, sir.
Just do what I do. I think I call John a different thing every time I speak to him.
Just never call him cockwomble because he's the furthest thing possible from a cockwomble.
Thank you, Bear. Thank you.
No, but I do the British thing, the northern thing of like, hey up, Gawker.
Hey up, Cocker. That's a term of endearment up north, isn't it? Yes, the beard is looking trim again.
It is.
I have a funeral to go to, so I thought I'd trim the beard this week in case I made any errors in the trimming. It would pad out again.
That's funny. If I was going to a funeral, I wouldn't worry about it because, like, really, I'm there for them, not for everybody else. So they're not.
My wife said she didn't want to be sat next to a hobo on the front row of the.
No, she married one.
Yeah, she did. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a father's funeral, so.
Oh well, that's different, sir. That's very different. Be respectful.
Yes. So
that's the man responsible for making the woman you love.
Absolutely. And the grandfather to my 2 glorious children.
Are your 2 glorious children playing D&D?
No, they won't.
Not so glorious now, are they?
They're not into it. They're not into it.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't until last year, and I was 28, so there's always time.
Yeah, there's always time.
Put it in your will. Put it in your will that they have to play a full fucking run of Tomb of Horrors if they want their inheritance.
You bet your ass they'll fucking do it then.
Yeah, that's not enough of a challenge. They have to go all the way through the Forest Oracle.
They've never played D&D, and you're going to throw them into Tomb of Horrors as their first session? That's not enough of a challenge?
There's too many cheats out there. There's no way to cheat. There's no way to cheat yourself through the Forest Oracle. It's just bad and painful.
It's painful for the DM as well.
There it is. I still intend to rewrite the Forest Oracle and make it good.
That's what I'm doing. That falls into the lawful evil of the triad that are trying to destroy my planet.
I agree with Bandit's Keep on that.
On what? Tomb of Horrors or Forest Oracle?
Forest Oracle.
It's a good beginning module.
You can actually tweak it a little bit, just a little bit. There's a couple of blog posts I've seen where they just tweak it a little bit and they make it a damn decent little module. You just gotta get past the stupid shit.
By tweaking it just a little bit, you mean cutting out chunks?
No. Adjusting certain things, just twisting them a little bit.
Dungeon Business is Tomb of Horrors.
Yeah, Tomb of Horrors is a garbage module, but that's okay. Everybody loves it. I'm just gonna. I have no use for Tomb of Horrors. I have no use for the one you were talking about earlier that everyone loves and is the greatest starting adventure of all. Keep on the Borderlands. No use for that. And give me Beyond the Crystal Caves. Give me the stuff where you get to have some fun and be really creative and get into the wow of D&D. You know what I mean?
I think Sinister Secret of Saltmarsh is a really good start.
You know what? I've never played it, but I've heard amazing things about it.
Yeah. To be honest, my 5th edition group, I've mentioned it a few times on streams. I met a group by running 5th edition for them, and then I started converting old school adventures to 5th edition to run for them because I wanted them to play that sort of adventure style. And when the party got pretty much wiped out by X5 Temple of Death because they didn't quite realize just what they were up against, and they got greedy and they got silly. I said, okay, do you want to? No. After that, we ran up to sort of Halloween. So for Halloween, I turned up with a fistful of pre-generated characters and Tomb of Horrors. I said, okay, we're going to play AD&D tonight. They'd never played AD&D before. The next 2 sessions, I ran them through Tomb of Horrors, and I said after that, do you want me to run you through an AD&D campaign? They all said yes. So it did it. It worked. It worked. But they had already played a fair bit of 5th edition before that. And they enjoyed it.
Did you run it by the book, Tomb of Horrors?
Yes.
They lived?
No.
Okay.
They lived? How does anybody live in that adventure who isn't really experienced? They died in the most gratuitous and graphic ways. And they enjoyed it. They were pre-generated characters. But they enjoyed.
Can you tell us some of the details?
No, because I'd like to run you through it at some point.
Oh, fuck off. All right, fine then.
In all,
you love to hear me suffer, don't you?
In all, I've run Tomb of Horrors twice, both for mainly 5th edition players, 2 different groups. And in total, about 11 or 12 characters we used, because some people used a second character when the first one died really early. Only 1 character survived, and that character fled from the tomb naked and gender swapped, vowing never to go in there ever again.
Fair.
And the baddie at the end never even got scratched. One character met the baddie at the end and was never seen again. But that was it. That was it.
Right. Definitely sex dungeon slave.
So, Eagle Rider, how old are all of us? I'm 52.
53, turning 54 in a couple of months.
56.
29.
29.
One of these things is not like the others.
In so many ways, you have hair.
I know, right?
You're
I know.
young. You're brown. It's amazing. You
Yeah,
are
I'm a Muslim.
You're a DEI hire.
I smoke the good shit.
Yeah, me too. Brisket, bacon, turkey.
Which takes me back to that earlier comment I made over on Shadow Stream today. There comes a point in a man's life where he has to decide: I'm going to really get into World War II, or I'm going to start smoking meats.
I do both.
Everyone always says that, but there's one you're more into than the other, and you have to admit it.
Yes.
Which is it?
Yes, we know you're old, Andy, and I'm just going to show it again. I'm just going to remind everybody that this picture is an old picture of Andy.
Fucking boomer.
Like
I mean, hey, Andy.
He doesn't look like this anymore. He is our granddad.
Well, that was when he was starring in Little House on the Prairie. I mean, that was back in the 70s.
The Road Show. He was in the Little House on the Prairie Road Show. It was pretty good.
The
girl who played Nellie was like, she grew up to be a Playboy model, I think, and that was great. From the Road Show, not the original series.
So, I mean, one thing I am looking forward to at the end of this month is finally meeting up with some of these guys, and I'm going to have a beer or two with Andy, and Iman's going to sit and watch us have a beer. Isn't that right, Iman?
Damn straight.
Hey, can I get you guys' opinion on something?
Do you want
Sure.
Okay, cool. Pump this up if you don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about recoloring the blue midsection and clearly that miscolored blue thigh to match the green, but otherwise, too garish, or does it look cool?
If you just have the green and the
purple and the gold with the multicolored gems and stuff, obviously. But...
Yeah. It isn't the green and the which superhero?
I would green and purple and orange, blue and orange are villain colors.
Yeah. Is it Kang in Marvel who was
Kang is blue, is purple and green and blue. Lex Luthor's armor was green and purple. I can do this all night, man. Trust me. It's not a universe. It's not a unique one character color combo. But otherwise, is it too garish? Does it look cool?
I think, yeah. If you recolor the blues, that'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah, leave the blue on the gemstones, but on the actual
gemstones
armor,
are fine. It's just going to be here on the chest plate and that piece on the thigh.
Yeah, I think color those to green. It'll be perfect.
Yeah. Okay, I'm happy with that. Thank you, gentlemen.
No worries.
I'm going to wear it to church, Dungeon Minister. That's what I'm going to do.
Right.
You should wear it to Dungeon Minister's sermon.
I'm going to wear it to CleriCon.
It looks absolutely fine. I mean, is he going to be quite an ostentatious bad guy, full of himself?
He's an invader from the underdimension. He's a threat. You know what I mean? He's a monster villain.
He is showing off the bling though, so he's got to have a bit of arrogance about it.
Well, yeah, he's the absolute undisputed ruler of the underdimension, or whatever I'm going to wind up calling it in the end.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Yep.
I will win your fake no existence costume contest. Thank you very much. You're going to have to come up with the prize for me now.
Are you going
clearly
to
when you think cosplay, you think this guy.
Are you going to come to CleriCon dressed as him?
I'm going to come to CleriCon dressed as Bear.
What?
I don't do costumes, son. I used to get paid money to wear costumes. You understand?
But
all the stuff I used to do for money, I don't do for free.
Were you paid in Baldur's Gate?
Then? Oh, you're hilarious. You are right, sir. An absolute riot. Yeah, I mean America. There you go.
Are we picking on Halakar now, are we?
Yeah, there's California. Yeah, that's definitely a dimension under something.
That's the People's Republic of California, sir. Get it right. The People's
Anyway,
and I live in Soviet Kanakistan, so it all works out for me too.
California and New York. Yay.
And both myself and Iman live in a country that has history.
Oh, you're so funny.
Anyway,
yeah, remember when the Aztec nation was great? We had more people in it than all of Europe. I do. Well, I don't
remember when what's that city in the Midwest that was the native city that had a larger population than London at the time of its existence?
Don't see the Americans celebrating this very much, do we?
We conquered them. We're not going to celebrate them.
But I want to talk about the conventions we've got coming up. I want to talk about the conventions. Halakar, you thinking of coming to Clericon?
Oh yeah, I've got vacation time put in already.
Because Dungeon Minister's here, so there's the Dungeon Minister. You have 3 attendees here.
Yeah, I got to figure out where I'm going to stay, but yeah.
Eagle Rider, native girl there. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, me too. I'm a giveaway.
What tribe? What nation? Eagle Rider. Sorry, I'm Canadian. We call them nations. What do you want?
Was it us Brits that killed you all, or was it? I don't know.
It was like a twofer by the British and the French, wasn't it?
Didn't the Spanish do a
pretty good job?
Lakota Sioux, nice.
Yeah,
I've been up in your territory. I know that area.
Yeah,
great.
We Europeans, we were a bit shitty to you over there. Yeah, we were a bit shitty.
Well, the
wasn't everybody in those
days. Brought us syphilis. I mean, it wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, it was a gift. Enjoy. We brought you smallpox as well.
Wow. My 4-time back great grandfather survived smallpox exposure twice. Once in the cavalry, and he was married to a Native American woman, and her tribe was entirely wiped out, or her group was entirely wiped out, but he survived. So I don't know if I have any kind of cool genetic resistance, but yeah, great grandfather Meju survived smallpox twice.
Wow.
What a hero.
Wow. The Spanish were too southern. The French taught us how to scalp, and we perfected it. Yeah, but so yes, 3 of us are going to Clericon in October, which I'm looking forward to. And I need to start writing the Call of Cthulhu adventure that I will be running at Clericon. I have booked a table to run a game in the evening. I hope some of you chaps will come along. Anyone in chat who's coming along, we are welcome. I have a limit of 6 people. A strict limit of 6 people. Yeah, I'm tempted to run my my Yorkshire one, but just move it over to Canada for that. But I don't know. We shall see. But also there's myself and Iman are meeting up with Andy, and there's going to be Gingerbeard, and there's going to be Gene, and who else is coming? Is Joker coming? I think he might be.
I think so.
If he can get away from his new girlfriend.
Does she have him in the basement or something, rubbing lotion on his skin?
No, he's.
Do you know what? I fucking hope so.
You know what you're like 2 months into a relationship. It's
honeymoon phase.
Oh, it's the honeymoon phase. Absolutely.
I hope he pays more attention to his girlfriend than he does in some of our sessions.
I think that might be because he's being distracted by his girlfriend.
Oh, is that okay? Is that what we're going with? Okay.
I have a feeling that he might have a chat window open to his girlfriend all the time. Who's going to get themselves cancelled?
Eagle Rider. She said you need a token female, preferably with sandwiches.
That's not worthy of cancelling. Come on.
I mean, yeah, why not?
You can't cancel her. She's female and a person of color. She is uncancelable.
Well, I don't know. They sure tried with what's her name? Yeah, never mind.
Oprah.
No, screw Oprah.
I don't know who else then.
What's that?
Who else would it be?
The young, fairly attractive African American woman that's conservative.
Candace Owen chose conservative, therefore she is cancelable because she has given up her rights as a left female person of color. You know, have you not been paying attention to how this works?
Oh, did she get bleached or something along the way? I didn't know.
Socially, she's been socially bleached because she suffers from internalized racism, where she's diminishing herself. Right? You understand? Like, come on, man, keep up.
Well, I was told as a Native American I cannot be the victim of racism because I can pass for white.
See? See? Gotta get yourself a tan, son. Then you can pull it off.
Yeah, I kind of have one.
So, Halakar, do you have
a tan? Oh, buddy.
Do you have an Indian name?
No, I'm not that. And you have to go back 4 generations to where we had 100% native blood come into the family. Now, there was a big thing back in the 70s when they were first looking at opening the casino and stuff on the reservation in Mount Pleasant. And they called it Indian money. Anybody that was a member of the tribe could basically get money from the government. And my grandma was the oldest child in her family. So they came to her and said, do you want to sign up for this? And she says, no, I didn't work for it. I don't want this money. And the rest of her younger siblings lost their mind and made such a big fuss, both in Mount Pleasant and in Sault Ste. Marie, that our family's not even allowed back on the reservation anymore.
Wow. I have a friend of mine. She's Mi'kmaq, and back home in Nova Scotia, where she's from, they have a casino on the res, and she lives here in Quebec, but she gets a check every month. Every month, everybody in the nation gets a check written out to them for their profit share.
Yeah, that Mount Pleasant gets huge money now because that casino is monstrous.
Hello, Laughing Water, but scalps with a vengeance.
Oh, you know what mine is? Runs with scissors.
Halakar, what would yours be?
I have no idea.
Well,
he yells at clouds, apparently.
Yells at clouds. There we go. There we go. Yes. Right, we have come.
Yeah, I like that. Yells at clouds and runs with scissors. Let's do a road tour.
My last name actually is a tribal name, so.
What's your last name?
Qureshi.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say Patel.
No, God, no, I'm not Indian. Come on.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna say this, Simon, because I think it's something I got to get all my brown friends, all my brown brothers and sisters. Remember, I was engaged to a brown girl for 9 years. I've been steeped in the culture.
I remember you said
this whole Pakistan India thing. This was the British. You need to let go of it and go back to being.
Bro, I know. I'm just doing it as a joke. It's my dad that actually.
Because I've literally had
that.
students get mad at me about it. I'm just like, wow.
No, my dad's actually like that. I do it as a joke.
Your dad's like that?
Yeah. I know.
That's really funny. One of my best friends is Pakistani, and she doesn't give a shit. Like, she'll throw it at me sometimes, but she doesn't give a shit. But she was telling me that when Ms. Marvel was on there, the Ms. Marvel show, she'd watch it with her mother, and she'd watch it with her nieces and nephews, right? And when she'd watch it with her mother would talk about being a child and learning all about the separation and all that stuff that happened. So she's like, for her, this show was amazing. And then she'd share it with the younger generation, and they'd talk about the history of their people, which was really interesting, right? And then I turn on the internet, and all I see is a bunch of guys who look like me and Halakar going, "This is a shit show," and I'm like, yeah, I finally get the it's not for you part of these shows, because I've had another perspective on it now, you know?
Yeah. I wasn't laughing at you, Bear. I was laughing.
I know you weren't. I saw the Parkinson so I could go with drink mixer. I saw it.
So Eagle Rider, you had roles in quite a few James Bond movies as Shaken Not Stirred.
Now that's a good Native American name right there. Shaken Not Stirred.
Right. Anyway, we have come to Pumpkin Hour. quite how we've managed to drag this stream out for 3 hours, I don't know, seeing as we exhausted the first two topics I thought would fill up about 2.5 hours, and then we'd spend the last 30 minutes ranting at clouds or whatever about the third topic. And we ended up talking a lot more about that. That's probably what happens. But I think we came up with something very constructive, and that is that Iman is our sensei, and it is on him to.
He's not our sensei. Stop it.
Poster boy.
Poster boy.
Poster boy. Okay.
He's our public relations,
and he is to spread the word amongst his generation that we're not all evil, nasty old people. We're old, we're people, but we're not evil and nasty.
Hey, do you know what?
He's
I'm sticking with the way that the modern times are changing. I could be the diversity and inclusion person.
I said this. I said you're a DEI hire.
Yes, DEI. That's what they call it. Yep.
Yeah.
If anyone ever says to any of you guys or anyone in chat that it's a hobby just for all white dudes, just point them towards me.
Yeah. Here we have our token.
Now, see, when I was growing up, we didn't have a choice because that's all there was in my school.
Yeah.
True.
Anyhow. So if you want to check back to what we were talking about, we covered 3 topics tonight. Encumbrance, we talked about that for an hour or so. That kept Saxius entertained. We talked a bit about rule changes, which kept nobody really entertained. And then we talked about Wizkids being knobheads, and that seemed to keep more people entertained. So there we go. Bear.
And then we solved all the world's problems and put everything really cool. And
Absolutely.
now nothing but harmony across the globe because of us tonight.
Yeah, of course.
You saw it here.
Yep.
Yeah.
We've undone colonialism and hatred.
Absolutely.
But English
Bear. Shut up and chill.
Shut up and chill. Heroic, the RPG on Backer Kit. Go now. If you don't want to do that, Patreon, Zenith Comics, $5 a month. You're going to get lots of material for the game you didn't back on Backer Kit if you don't back it. Tonight on the 4-Color Cafe over on my channel at Zenith Comics Presents, we are going to be having a gentleman named Bill Keys on, who's getting ready to launch a Kickstarter for a superhero project he's doing, and he's also going to be writing a module for Heroic. So, hey, come on over for that. Done.
Cool. Halakar, shield your channel. Oh, you haven't got one. Thank you very much.
Oh, and Saturday, you want
everybody
to see
Yield
Geek
food.
Saturday, if you want to see Yield Geek and Iman play Palladium Fantasy, check us out. We're going to have some fun.
Yes, it's been a long time coming. Navri's going to shove this sword up Sir Devere's ass for being such a dick.
No, please, let's be honest. Devere's a bell end.
Yeah, he is. Yes, which reminds me, there's something I want to send to you, Bear, which I've got written out, but I need to type it up.
Send it on over.
I want to do it properly. So Halakar, you're a regular on my channel. You chime in on other people's channels, don't you? And,
a little bit.
Yeah.
He doesn't talk to any of us really. He just likes you.
No.
I watch Mage's stuff and
okay, he never shows up on my shit. Is my point. The point I was trying to be generous about it, but I'll just be direct. You don't show up on my shit, so thanks. I appreciate that.
I watched a couple streams of Heroic, but I am not a comic book person. But I just wanted to give you more views. So,
I do more than just comic books, sir. Look at my channel.
Well, that game itself was.
And I don't just run games on my channel, sir. I sometimes turn on my microphone and have opinions about things.
Yeah,
and
you also play.
And you have cat invasions.
Yes, often.
Those are some of my favorite parts.
I'm going to go to bet next week. I'm not too excited about that.
Watching Heroic made the comic fan. There you go. Iman,
sir,
shill your channel.
Intellectual Quandary. I do video game stuff. If you want to see me rage at Bloodborne, check out my most recent stream. I died 21 times to the same boss, and eventually I was at the end of my tether and I just had to call it. So also tune in this Sunday and you'll see me kick his ass.
The definition of
Giving content.
insanity is
Exactly.
Yes.
Well,
So,
that's part of Bloodborne. It fits in with the mythos of Bloodborne because it's Lovecraftian.
Isn't Bloodborne the most difficult modern video game? It's just insane.
I think that title goes to Elden Ring now, which is made by the same developers.
Play some Helldivers, man. Come on, Helldivers 2.
And as it says, died 21 times. You never thought to try being better.
You thought about,
Get
no,
good,
I
man.
tried. You know what? I tried to get good. That's the thing.
And I mean, you're here because you know who I am. I'm guessing I'm the old geek, and I might be appearing on Dave Leonard's blog in some. I'll wait to see what he writes about me, and I might be appearing in any name, whatever name he wants to call me there.
Old Blood Fart the Inhaler.
Yeah. And I do these streams every Wednesday. We've up until now we've tended to have one topic on the stream, but we've hammered 2 years of streaming, and I've run out of ideas. So what I'm going to try and do is dig up all the topics that didn't quite make it for a whole stream, and we're going to cover multiple topics now, and just put the world to rights. That's the idea. I read choose your own adventure type books on Friday nights, and sometimes we play a Mafia game. We didn't have enough people last Friday, unfortunately. So if ever you want to play a game of Mafia, Werewolf, whatever you want to call it, I run live ones of those now on YouTube, which are a lot of fun, aren't they, Amon?
Register your interest, people. I'm disappointed we didn't do it last week.
Yeah, I have a Discord where we play games every Saturday. I run Call of Cthulhu there every Tuesday. If you're interested in playing, pop in and register your interest. And if you want to play some Mafia, let me know and we'll get it organized. I like to play more games as well in live. I'm looking into getting Car Wars going on Roll20 and hopefully streaming a live arena, people blowing each other up with cars with guns. I think that'd be fun. We shall see if that comes to fruition. Anyway, it's long
otherwise
past.
known as driving through Detroit.
Hey. Or there were parts of Birmingham like that. But until I see you next time, just enjoy your games. Be good to people. Play as many games as you can. Have fun. And good night.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good one.